Good morning, everybody. It is a Tuesday, the 20th of January. Welcome to Breakfast with Roger and Friends. And it is cold out there. We have temperatures 5 to 6 degrees above zero and feeling every bit below zero for that matter. We'll give you the skinny on the weather coming up. Anyway, in the meantime, we're going to say good morning to Terry Chamberlain. Good morning.
Good morning.
Love your hat.
Thank you.
Color coordinated. You got the pussycat on the blouse, and you know, and I love your hat. But my buddy here, who I gave a beautiful hat to, women were calling me up and saying, "Hey, have you seen Mike Olson? He's got that hat on. It looks very distinguished. And good morning. You're into the pastries right away. Good for you. You know, don't hesitate.
No, my mother once told me, "He who hesitates is
lost." Yes.
So
was that your mother, or was that Confucius?
Well, my mother might have got it from Confucius.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She's the one that gave it to me when I was younger.
Yeah. Hey, an exciting football game last night.
Good football game last night for a championship game. You know, sometimes they don't live up to the billing. There's a big billing.
Well, it did this time.
Yeah, it did.
After the first half. The first half Indiana dominated. It should have been much higher score. They missed a number of opportunities, but boy, give Miami and his coaching staff credit, and their quarterback, they came back and made a game of it, didn't they?
They were driving it, and they were only down by 6.
You know, once again, a quarterback, just like with the Bears, made a bad decision and threw an interception, and that was game. They had a chance to win it.
Sure did.
Because they were down by 6, so you score and shoot the PAT, and it's victory for
which is about
the
a
Miami.
90% or 95%.
Yeah, you bet. So it was a good game to watch, and I'm sure that our casino boss, Kyle Varnold, made a bundle of loot last night. He seems to know how to do it, for that matter. We are going to have some cold temperature, going to warm up a little bit for a couple days, and then by this weekend we're going in the refrigerator, actually the deep freeze, once again. How do you handle the cold, Mike?
Well,
you know, you had knee replacement surgery. Do you see any difference in your joint of that leg, knee?
Not really.
Okay.
I've got long
Okay, you got long underwear. I thought you were going to announce to the world.
I got corduroy pants.
Good for you.
Socks. I call them kind of you know, those long white socks that you get in the hospital.
So compression.
The compression stockings.
So I got those on. So I'm
You're in great shape. Do you remember growing up as kids? One of the things our parents clothed us with were corduroy pants.
Yeah, I still wear them.
I didn't know they still. I guess they still make. I love corduroy pants.
I've got 3 pair. I got the gray on the day. I got a dark blue pair, and I've got a brown pair. That I get out.
Well, you covered the waterfront.
And I wear when the weather's like this. I wear them all the time because they just feel right. You know, the average pair of slacks, the wind seems to go right through them.
No, you're right. I have insulated blue jeans. I have a couple of pairs of that, and then a pair of dress pants that are insulated. And I'll tell you, if I don't wear them in this kind of weather, it's almost feel like you're walking naked. I'm serious on your legs.
Oh, no, I know.
Yeah. How do women? You don't have insulated. Well, I don't know what you have. What do you? Do you have insulated clothing?
I used to have a nice pair of wool pants that had a little bit of a lining to it, which I loved in the wintertime. And I do have very lightweight, almost like silk, long johns, the pants and that.
Yeah.
Silk, but insulated or lined?
Not just-
Because normally silk is very thin.
It is thin, but it's called a thinsulate material. They were from Land's End, and Wisconsin, Land's End kind of goes hand in hand. So
Okay.
they're nice to wear under something. If I could just find all these pieces right now, it would be great.
Well, yeah, that's another story.
I'm
Yeah.
scattered all over.
Yeah, I think I've got 8 closets in the house, and 9 of them are filled.
It's amazing how they do.
One way or the other. Well, let's get into the weather and the news to bring you up to date, the most comprehensive news right here on WAZ, where we write the news. We don't copy it. I like that, Roger. All right, and it's brought to you by our friends at Spoon River Home Health, making a difference in the lives of clients since 1993 with a comprehensive range of home health services from skilled nursing to bathing and personal care. Your choice matters at Spoon River Home Health. Their phone number 309-245-0723. Weather-wise, increasing cloudiness today, a little warmer with a high near 30. However, wind chill values, they still say, thanks to those winds between 6 and 4 below. Tonight, a slight chance for snow, overnight low 25. Tomorrow it'll be sunny, windy, and a high all the way up to 35 degrees. But tomorrow night, partly cloudy, windy, and colder, 17. And Thursday, sunny, 28. Thursday night, bitterly cold, a low 1 below. Friday, a nasty cold day with only 6 degrees above zero, and 4 below Friday night. Saturday, a high of 9. Saturday night, 2 degrees, maybe 1 above. Any rate, we are right now at 5 degrees. And let's get into the news with the lead story. Here's Terry.
Tazewell coroner Charles Hanley has identified the woman pedestrian who was struck and killed by a pickup truck. She was Lori Boyce of Washington. The 63-year-old victim was pronounced dead at the scene, the 2300 block of Washington Road, just before 6 p.m. Friday evening. Driver of the truck has not been identified as police continue their investigation of the fatal mishap.
Families with loved ones living at the Serenity Assisted Living and Memory Care Facility on Main Street in East Peoria have received notice it will soon close. Residents must seek new accommodations. Senior living facilities, ladies and gentlemen, including nursing homes, are facing serious financial and staffing challenges. The profit margins are slim and getting slimmer, according to some healthcare sources.
Wasn't that the place that the lady came on the station a few years
Yes.
ago? They were just building it?
Yes.
Okay, I thought
And
that's where
it was one of the major contributors, owners, was Ty Elliott.
Ty Elliott.
And
That
they
new
made...
place, no, it's only been open a short time.
But you know, the key to businesses, I'm told, the 3 keys: location. That was a terrible location.
it was hard to get. Very
Hard to get to, and scenic-wise, something because it overlooked the beautiful car lot of Uftring Motors. And well, our condolences to the residents who have, and to the staff members as well,
to scramble,
who have
yeah.
to look for jobs elsewhere.
Nearby Riverview Nursing Home in East Peoria closed in March of last year, not long after it was acquired by Accolade Healthcare. Accolade purchased Morton Terrace and reduced its bed capacity soon thereafter with demolition of one of their 2 buildings in an effort to reduce operational costs.
OSF Healthcare announcing that Sister Michaela Maido will become the organization's next president. She'll replace Michelle Conger, who will be promoted as CEO of OSF Healthcare with the pending retirement of Bob Searing. Sister Michaela is currently Executive Vice President and Chief Ministry Officer.
In national news, so far no apology from Minnesota Governor Tim Walz about the invasion of anti-ICE rioters at a church in St. Paul. The rioters harassed church members during a Sunday service, frightening children as well as adults as they were worshiping.
The rioters have also caused the closure of a number of hotels and motels in the Minnesota Twin Cities area, citing safety concerns. Some reportedly said calls to police for help went unanswered. Federal sources complain some hotels are denying rooms for ICE and border agents in the state of 10,000 lakes.
Elsewhere in the country, a huge strike of nurses in New York City has entered its second week with no end in sight. The nurses are protesting for higher wages and shorter hours. Some have even started demonstrating in front of the homes of hospital executives.
Elsewhere in the news, the Supreme Court has ruled by a vote of 7-2 that candidates have a right to challenge late arriving mail-in ballots. County clerks and election boards have maintained ballots can be counted even after Election Day. The ruling comes after an Illinois Republican who easily won said it was wrong to count late ballots, a position also held by many, including President Donald Trump. That's a look at some of our stories. We have news from WCBU coming up. Here's an important note for investment questions and information. Consider Bob Manning of the Grandview Capital Group at Morgan Stanley in Peoria. Bob, a senior vice president, has been in the investment advisory field for more than 27 years. His telephone number, 309-671-4653, Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. And ladies and gentlemen, after a holiday vacation, the newsroom at WCBU is alive now. Thank you. Our audience is happy to hear that.
From the WCBU newsroom, I'm John Norton. The Peoria Park District will use a $600,000 state grant to pay for a host of improvements at Chartwell Park on the northwest side. Park District Executive Director Emily Cahill says the funding will pay for a new inclusive playground, improved walking paths, a new picnic shelter, and removal of invasive plants.
Most likely, the way the timing of this works, it will be sometime next year before you see those improvements as we work through design and then putting a project out to bid.
The grant comes from a package of $36 million awarded statewide through an Illinois Department of Natural Resources program. Cahill says Chartwell Park is on the district's short list of parks with older playgrounds in need of replacement. Authorities are investigating what led to the death of a pedestrian struck by a pickup truck pulling a trailer along Washington Road. 63-year-old Lori Boyce was hit in the 2300 block of Washington Road. That's between Meadow Lane and Briargate Road, right between East Peoria and Washington. Tazewell County Coroner Charles Hanley says Boyce was pronounced dead at the scene on Friday night. Illinois and 11 other states have sued the Trump administration over its move to withhold potentially hundreds of billions of dollars in grant funding from states that refuse to comply with the Trump administration's definition of sex and gender. Illinois allows its residents to change the sex on their birth certificate by signing a statement affirming their gender designation or intersex condition. Capital News Illinois reports the states called the latest Trump directive, quote, a novel and ambiguous funding condition. And Peoria Public Library is now the official Central Illinois regional sponsor of this week's Scripps National Spelling Bee. Library Executive Director Randall Yelverton says it's ideal for local students after the regional sponsorship was vacant for several years.
We feel like it's a perfect marriage of our mission, which is to develop a love of learning and reading, and what better than to get people studying words, loving words, because it's so important to what we do.
Peoria, Peoria County, and Peoria Public Schools are the library's key partners in the program. I'm John Norton.
All right, it's time for sports. And Tuesday morning, the guy who knows sports, nobody knows sports better than this guy. Been there, done that, Mike Olson. Good morning, Michael.
And our fine listeners all over the Peoria area. Indiana from the Big Ten wins the NCAA football championship. Now, we've known them to win some basketball championships,
They sure have.
but they had never won a football championship.
Who do you think was Chris Reynolds rooting for last night?
Oh, I think he was rooting for Indiana. They've got a tremendous following. They say their alumni is one of the
largest in the country.
And that's what you need today, because even if each one would give you a nickel, you'd have a lot of money, and there's a lot of people giving a lot of money. Who's the billionaire that's giving a lot of? They showed him twice after the game last night. There's a billionaire that's taking care of what they call that NIL money,
Yeah.
which is pay for players. Let's call it what it is. That's fancy.
you're exactly. I think it's Gene Sidler.
Well,
I mean, he's loaded.
but you know, there's that group of could you give me some of the names? I know it's not the one that
Cook is a big name
Cook.
in political donations.
Okay.
Was it Cook?
No.
Rockefeller. You think of money?
This is the man. These are the guys. I call them the gayroos that we had one that helped
A lot
Trump.
of money, yeah.
Well, give me his name. It's not him. Musk. And then there's
Elon Musk, yeah.
Warren Buffett. I don't think it was Bezos. I recognize.
Zuckerberg.
Pardon me.
Zuckerberg. Branson.
Zetterberg might be it, and I shouldn't if I don't know it.
I don't
but
think he's into sports.
I don't think they are either.
No,
Well,
he's in the entertainment
But some
industry.
people were surprised when they found out that he was this one that
Yeah,
I call him one of the big donator, big money people that own billions. You know, when you own billions, guys, you can give away millions like they're dollar bills.
You can, I can.
No, but I'm not a billionaire.
Oh, I
There's
thought you were.
999 million in a billion. So there's guys that sell companies for 8 billion.
Well, Pritzker just donated how much from his own personal
that's
income?
my point.
Millions of dollars for
Right,
his
if-
campaign to get reelected and then run for president.
It's hard to
I thought it
even
was
imagine
218
the money
million
that
or
some of these people
280
have
million, something like that.
accumulated.
I just beyond me.
That's almost obscene. But on the other hand, when you talk about whether it's J.B. Pritzker or Donald Trump, look at what we're paying athletes. I mean, you talk about obscene payments.
Well, we just the Cub player that just left the Cubs and went to the Dodgers.
Yeah, Tucker.
240 million over only 4 years. So that's 60.
Oh, poor baby. Only got
That's
4
60.
years.
That's 60 million a year.
Yes.
And one thing about baseball money too, Major, it's all guaranteed.
Yeah, here's the other
He
thing,
could get
too.
hit by a
How
pitch.
many months out of the year do they actually work?
About 9.
I don't know if it's 9.
Well, they
You know, you've got-
start rounding up about the
They start
middle
playing
of
in
February and going
April, May, June, July, August, September,
October.
and October,
Yeah,
8.
yeah, 8. And
And,
most of them are in
probably, you're right, probably 9 because
they're in
of spring training. Yes.
now
yeah.
at least because remember the season even starts earlier now.
You know, I wonder how they feel when they don't get paid for 3 months.
Well, I
You think they
probably got
can
it.
make ends
Did they
meet?
notice?
Can they make ends
They
meet?
get, maybe there's a fundraiser.
Yeah, a GoFundMe.
GoFundMe.
What is Tucker's first name?
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Kyle, maybe.
See, we had Leslie Tucker, who was dean at Bradley, and Dean Tucker,
I think it's
who
Kyle.
was
Kyle Tucker.
dean of boys at Woodruff High School.
I think it's Kyle Tucker.
Kyle Tucker,
Kyle.
I think you're right. Let's hear it for the sports guy.
Well, let's get back
Yes.
to this Indiana game. You know, the first half was
Indiana.
Indiana. They were up 10-0 and probably could have been up more like
Should have
18-20, but they were up 10-0. As long as you're within 2 scores, you've got a chance. And you kind of anticipated that Miami would make a run, and they sure did. They sure did. In the third quarter, but then again, Indiana blocks a punt. You know what I'm saying? Miami scored early in the third quarter to make it 10-7. So you think, well, here they come. Well, then all of a sudden,
Mendoza.
Miami's punting and they get a punt blocked and Indiana scores it. I call it.
They did block. I missed that.
Yeah, Indiana in the third quarter, Indiana blocked a punt. So now they go up 17-7. But at the beginning of the fourth quarter, you know, once again, Miami gets a touchdown to make it 17-14. And then with 9 minutes to go, it's 24-14. It's still in favor of Indiana.
So Indiana scored a touchdown.
They're up 10, but that's a touchdown. And, boy, if you get the ball back and kick a field goal, you're right back in it. And then eventually it became 24-21 because Miami scored again to make a touchdown to make it 24-21. You're within 3. And then Indiana was only able to kick a field goal to make it 27-21. that's sometimes not good enough, especially in the NFL.
Right.
Because they drive down, score, get 6 points on their touchdown, make it 27-27, but they never did. They got the ball intercepted, and that was the game.
Yeah. And the quarterback obviously fell. You know, what is important to me after a big game like that is how do the players interact? Miami players were not cordial or accepting that they got beat. Many of them headed for the dressing room. Usually teams, when they are in a particularly a high-level game, will congratulate each other and so forth. And even the coaching, the two head coaches was very, very brief.
I call it cold.
It was well said. And so they're a bunch of sour grapes. They don't know how to lose. Miami. So I'm glad Indiana won. The good guys won.
One thing I've said that about the pro teams over the last couple of years. I've noticed that after the games, some of them even trade jerseys. Believe it or not,
and they hug each other and they
well,
talk
they
to each
probably
other
know them from either
from
high
years
school or
and years.
college
Yeah.
and that.
But I'll say that
it was
it was not
it was
good.
not that way
so,
last night. And,
you know,
but I just think it's a great win for obviously for
the Big
Indiana,
Ten.
who has not. I think the last time they even were really was about 1968. I think they won the Big Ten. 1968
In football?
Football, yeah. And they went to the Rose
But
Bowl.
they hit on some hard times. I just wish Illinois would bounce back. They're doing better.
They're doing
but,
better. They're doing better, and
but they're
But
not.
I think what's hurting them more than anything almost is how good the Big Ten is. When you got the Oregon,
Well, now that they've added the Pacific Coast
South,
teams,
Washington, Southern Cal.
yeah,
I mean,
Oregon.
Those are good. Washington even, and then of course UCLA, who's down a little bit right now, but that's over the years they've had their day in the sun.
Right.
But good game. Finally won by Indiana, 27-21 to win the NCAA Division I National Championship.
Good for the
in
Hoosiers.
In a football.
I like their coach too.
Well, he's done a tremendous job. A lot of people might recognize that name Signetti. His cousin is named that actually coached at Manual as an assistant by the name of Dave Signetti. And when I heard that,
Did you know him?
yes, and he was an assistant and under Bob Smith back in the days when they were having a lot of success.
Well, we know who Bob Smith is.
In the 70s, and then he. I think he went to Caterpillar. And started working.
I didn't know they had a football team.
Well, I know, but
They had baseball.
They got a pretty good budget. Probably a little better payroll than District 150 had at that time too.
Mm-hmm.
For you, remember high school coaching, you get a stipend, and it's a very fair stipend now. But your bulk of your pay comes from teaching, and I think some coaches get to the point where they really don't want to teach too much.
When you were at Central or Bergen or Notre Dame, you not only coached, but what did you teach? I know you about math, arithmetic.
When I started at Bergen, my first 4 years, 71 to 75, I taught basically geometry and some algebra, what I would call freshman, sophomore classes. And it was a good, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed them. I've always enjoyed math, and then when I had a chance to go to Richwoods, I jumped it for, I'm not afraid, better
Better pay.
benefits.
Yeah.
You know, both all the way around.
You know, I commend the teachers and instructors in parochial schools. They don't make the kind of money they do in public school systems, but they stay there because they're
Some
good
like it,
Catholics
you know,
and they're
there's
dedicated
guys,
to teaching.
Dick
Good for
Kelly and
them.
Spalding, some of these guys. Well, see, they're kind of forced to stay, Roger. There's no retirement to speak of other than Social Security, and you can't live on Social
No,
Security.
you but it sure comes in handy.
Well, it comes in handy. It sure does. But it's a long way from what my retirement from Peoria Public Schools is.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
I know you're living high off the hog
No,
since you
no,
retired.
Not as
Who started that? Living high off the hog. What the heck
I've heard
does that mean?
That goes back to the 50s.
Yeah.
My mom used
Well,
to
you know,
say
that's what the 50s and 40s were about, were famous neighborhood sayings by parents.
Yeah, do you ever call a little one of yours cute as a button?
Yes.
I did that
Oh,
one
no,
day.
I heard cute as a bug's ear.
Well, the one I heard from my mama, boy, that little baby's as cute as a button.
Yeah, yeah.
I said that to a girl about a little baby, about not a baby, but a young boy. I said, "You're as cute as a button." She goes, "Mr. Olson, I'm not a button."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, sorry, but I said back in the 50s and 60s, that was kind of
Remember the
common."
expression? I won't say it in its accuracy, but up your with a blowtorch. We'll go ahead and give some.
Yeah, there's other ones, too.
We'll let everybody fill in the
Up
blanks.
your nose with a rubber
I'm
hose.
going to stop too because
And here are the other ones.
Yeah,
there was one that was really cruel too. If somebody would give you the bird,
Yes.
bird,
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
put it in somewhere,
Yeah.
walk on it.
Yeah, okay.
So
but,
much for that. We got a pretty good hockey game last night for the Blackhawks.
They actually won, are you going
Won
to tell
2-0.
me?
They shut out Winnipeg. Yeah, well,
Well,
God,
now, Winnipeg is struggling,
they're struggling.
you got to admit.
Yeah, they are.
So it wasn't like playing in Boston.
The biggest thing that was there, you got the picture of the man right behind you, Roger. A guy by the name of Jonathan Taves was the
What
captain.
nationality is that name, Taves?
Taves,
T-O-E-W-S.
yeah,
How do you
it's
get
almost
Taves
like
out of
Toes,
that?
wouldn't you?
I'm going to say Polish or
Yeah, Taves, yeah. But anyway, he was captain,
Czech.
played with the Blackhawks probably 10, 12 years. And then during the COVID, I think he got COVID very seriously. He
Never
missed
really.
about 2 or 3 years.
oh my
And
goodness.
he just came back this year, and he's playing with Winnipeg, which is his hometown.
So he's Canadian,
He's Canadian.
maybe French. Taves doesn't sound
No,
French. does
I
it?
don't know French.
I would say Czechoslovakia
I would say
or
that too, yeah.
Yugoslavia.
So anyway, that
or
was his kind of return to
hockey.
the Windy City last night. And
Did they give him a nice hand because he
you know
was
what?
a black guy?
I didn't see any of the game.
No, you were watching
We were
football.
watching football. We'll have plenty of time to watch hockey here.
There you go.
But Connor Bedard, see, the Blackhawks.
Is he back
took him-
now?
He's done, and he got a goal last night.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's
What
only
is he, 20?
20 years old. Yeah,
20, it's
and
an
he's still
amazing
as Royce would say, he's still manuring. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, maturing. But no, he's not he's not real physical.
He's manuring well. I
He's
step
playing in
in
a
it.
contact sport, but he's very gifted, and
Great kid. And then the older guys are beating the crap out of him.
and they
That's the
tore
second
his
time
shoulder-
he's
they
had
tore
some
it-
bad injuries.
Tore his shoulder up pretty bad.
Oh, wow.
But he's back, and he scored last night. His name is Connor Bedard, and then a guy by the name of Jason Dickinson got the other goal. Spencer Knight was the winning goalie. He got the shutout in the 2-0 win over Winnipeg. You know, you got to give John Guy Trudel credit, boy. They have not.
Is he now 7 games ahead of second place?
He's maybe at 7 points.
I mean 7 points,
which
yeah.
is
pretty
which is
remarkable.
3.5 games because you get 2 points for
A
a
win, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean they weren't when we were talking 2 weeks ago. They were in 4th,
Yes.
but not too far out. But the point I'm trying to make is I don't think I could be wrong, but they have not lost a game in January.
No kidding.
I mean they've had a great month, and they
He's a magician, isn't he, when it comes to recruiting
he's
players and
recruiting players
getting-
because he does all the recruitment of players.
He's an amazing man.
He is basically the general manager as far as putting the team together, and he practiced. I'd just like to tell one thing that man did over the past weekend. They won 3 games. They had to go to Quad City on Friday. They won. And they won here on Saturday night. They won here on Sunday afternoon. They sweep a series, 3 games in 3 nights.
Amazing.
Just like in baseball, that's not easy to do.
No.
And they were all, I think, one was a shootout and 2 were overtime. But I was over at the ice rink, Owens, on, where the old Lakeview facility was on where are we on Lake Street, Lake and out between Sheridan and University, and one of the coaches from one of the travel teams that they have travel teams in every
That are
age
playing over there.
they are part of the Peoria Youth Hockey Association. And one of the coaches, I think they have a great rule. You're in charge of a team. If they take too many penalties in a game, you're suspended for the next game. I mean, if you the coach are. So he's kind of the head of the travel program.
Who's that?
John Gee in Peoria.
He's doing that
Yeah,
too?
he's doing that.
Good
Just
for
like
him.
my dad did for many years.
Did he marry a Peoria girl? Did you say that?
Well, he did, and he was divorced from his first wife, and
Okay.
they have a young man that's playing for them, but he has a significant other right now, and I believe he has, but he lives in Peoria, the Peoria area. And,
Good for him.
Dunlap, his boy went to Dunlap, and I think his young daughter goes to.
Does the boy skating?
Pardon me?
Does this boy?
The boy has
skate?
actually played for the Rivermen. Yes, he has.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I didn't
By
think
his
he was
first-
that old.
By his first. Oh yeah, he's getting up there. He's about 50.
Okay.
He's about, but
Oh,
he's,
poor
but he's
kid.
he got a lot of energy, and
I guess so.
the biggest thing, he's actually at. So he wins on Friday night at Quad Cities. Well, the game ends about 10:30.
That was 2-1, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and then he comes back here, gets back probably, midnight. You don't get home till 1. But he's over there at 10:30 coaching one of the travel teams because, like I said, the head coach of that team, he's the overseer of those guys, is suspended from the game because his team had gotten too many penalties the game before. That's part of the youth hockey rules, of the national rules. So, what I'm saying is, so he won that game 4-1. He won 4 games over the weekend.
He's an amazing guy.
He does it.
Good for him.
We'll
What
give
else do you have in the world of sports?
You know what? That's it. So
Oh, that's it.
that's it.
Oh.
We're pretty close to 6:30.
Well, we're pretty close. We're right on the button.
Right on the button. Yeah. So that's
Nice
that's
going.
sports. WAZU 90.7
Are you
FM.
thinking of Mark Cuban?
Mark Cuban. That's the guy.
Mark Cuban.
Mark
yeah,
Cuban.
he owns the Dallas Mavericks, does
That's
he
what
not?
that's why they showed this guy. I said, I don't think he's an athlete, but I think he's one of the.
No, he was one of the guys on the Shark Tank.
That's right. That's
You know, the
right.
investors present ideas.
Kind of got a little. A lot of hair, not
He's
a lot of hair.
he's a
but-
little politically, he's a little on the wild side. I'll leave it
Yeah,
at that.
a little bit.
But he is owner, I believe, of the Dallas Mavericks,
Mavericks,
of the NBA.
Yep,
Yeah.
and he, I know, when they won the NBA a couple years ago. I know
Dallas
Gary
did.
Knack took his boy out there because one of his former players, a kid that from Champaign, was on that team.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the news. This morning brought to you as a service of Martin Community Banks. Over 50 branches across central and northwestern Illinois offering a full range of personal and business banking services. Hometown banks, FDIC insured, so your deposits are safe. Look for the clock tower and you'll know they have time for you. Here's Terry with our news headlines.
Well, Tazewell Coroner Charles Hanley has identified the woman pedestrian who was struck and killed by a pickup truck as Lori Boyce of Washington. The 63-year-old victim was pronounced dead at the scene in the 2300 block of Washington Road just before 6 p.m. Friday evening. Driver of the truck has not been identified as police continue their investigation of the fatal mishap. Families with loved ones living at the Serenity Assisted Living and Memory Care Facility on Main Street in East Peoria have received notice it will soon close. Residents must seek new accommodations. Senior living facilities, including nursing homes, are facing serious financial and staffing challenges. The profit margins are slim and getting slimmer, according to some healthcare sources. OSF Healthcare has announced that Sister Michaela Madel will become the organization's next president. She'll replace Michelle Conger, who will be promoted as CEO of OSF Healthcare with the pending retirement of Bob Searing. Sister Michaela is currently Executive Vice President and Chief Ministry Officer. In national news, so far no apology from Minnesota officials about the invasion of anti-ICE rioters at a church in St. Paul. The rioters harassed church members during a Sunday service, frightening children as well as adults as they were worshiping. The rioters have also caused the closure of a number of hotels and motels in the Minnesota Twin Cities, citing safety concerns. The Supreme Court has ruled by a vote of 7-2 that candidates have a right to challenge late-arriving mail-in ballots. County clerks and election boards have maintained ballots can be counted even after Election Day. The ruling comes after an Illinois Republican who easily won said it was wrong to count late ballots, a position also held by many Republicans, including President Trump. And those are the headlines, Roger.
Okay, thank you, Kyna. Now a check of the weather brought to you by Kyle Varnold, providing personal and business insurance for auto, home, life, and health. Kyle, works with multiple carriers to find tailored policies for individuals, families, and businesses, at the same time building long-term relationships and personalized service. Kyle, available today after 9 o'clock at 309-682-0519. Kyle's number again, 682-0519. 19. Weather-wise, today increasing cloudiness, a little warmer, a high near 30. However, wind chill values, they say, will continue to be on the cold side between 6 above and 4 below. Tonight, a slight chance for snow, overnight low 25. Tomorrow, it'll be sunny, windy, a high of 35. Hooray for that. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, windy, and colder with a low of 17, and a boo for that. Thursday, sunny, 28. Thursday night, bitterly cold, low 1 below. Friday, as we go into the weekend, a cold day, a high of 6 above. That's on Friday, and we will be 4 below Friday night. Saturday, a high of only 9, and Saturday night, the low 1 above. And right now, our temperature as we look, 5 degrees. And there you have a check of the news and the weather at the bottom of the hour. I want to take this opportunity.
I'm so busy.
Yeah.
In fact, I can't keep up with
No,
my
I know.
phone.
I do want to take the opportunity to thank those people who have called and sent emails and messages following the death of my brother at the age of 94, and I thank you very much for the comments. The family is 4 wonderful daughters. Tanya, Lynette, Monica, and Carrie have done such a great job taking care of my brother, whose health started failing about 6 to 9 months ago and deteriorated very rapidly. And Mike, special thanks to you. You've been a big supporter of the Monroe family, particularly through our grandson, my grandson, Chris. But I know you follow baseball very closely. Did you have?
Closely,
Did
yeah.
you?
I
I think you invited him over to speak to your players one summer
true. Well,
over at Peoria High School, was it?
Yes, and then I also had him. He actually threw out the first pitch at a Merchants game early on. We played at Dozer Park.
Okay.
We played basically a group of, I would call them all-stars from the Sunday Morning League. So it was kind of a, Zach played in the Sunday Morning League and played
He
in
sure did.
Kickapoo Valley. But the thing I'd like to say about Zach is, as a young person growing up in northern Michigan, I was a Milwaukee Braves fan. As Terry's well aware, the Upper Peninsula is actually connected to Wisconsin.
Right.
So we lived literally 250 miles from Milwaukee, 120 miles from Green Bay, 50 miles from Marinette, Wisconsin. Okay, it's Menominee, Michigan, Marinette, Wisconsin, right on the border. So I grew up a Packers fan and,
that's understandable.
and a Braves fan, and especially in the 50s. We were winning World Series.
Yes, right.
Okay, but I remember this pitcher that pitched in the '58 World Series. I think I got the right year there.
Yeah, that is correct.
And that's the one the Yankees won.
Yeah,
Yankees,
they were down 3-1.
I watched every game and listened on my Channel Master. It had a nice little brown little leather case to it, and you could kind of sneak it in your desk even a little bit, because they used to play some games in the afternoon. They didn't always play at night. And when we moved to, I didn't know the name Zach Monroe from Warren Spahn, or I didn't know him.
You're right,
This guy's pitching in the big leagues, and all of a sudden we moved to Peoria, like in the early '60s, '63 to be exact. And I'm riding downtown, and I see, it's what I remember, pretty close to the Pier Marquette, maybe on the other side of the street. This sign says Zach Monroe, and I remember saying to my dad, "Look at Zach Monroe. He pitched for the." I'm a neophyte.
It was on Madison Avenue, the relief office was.
I told you,
right
on the
by the Madison Theater.
That's what I remember, and this is.
Oh, what a great memory you have.
63 years ago.
Yeah.
That was 63, and now we're
That
at
you
the
would
20.
remember that.
Oh no, and then somebody informed me, that's one of his sons, and a short time after, and then I sure enjoyed every chance that I would see him, and I think we had breakfast a time or two with you and I and him.
Yeah, we did.
And
you're right.
But just number one, a real gentleman. He was a role model to all of us that were involved in athletics and baseball specifically, you know, at any level, it's not really about you. You know what I'm saying? He was part of the Yankees, even. You know, but I never heard him ever say that he pitched in the big leagues.
No, he was very modest.
Very
about
modest.
it.
And most, you know, and like, you know, to lose him, and I apologize for not, but and losing my dad here. In fact, we met for about
you had things on
we
your
met
plate.
for
my
5
friend.
hours yesterday.
Wow.
Could I ask what day did he actually pass?
Sunday night. Actually,
Early
Monday
Monday
morning.
morning.
Yeah. We had an interesting debate.
Sunday night, just
I
this
said he died
I'll say-
late Sunday night. No, he died early Monday morning.
yeah.
It was around 1:30 when I
It's
got
all
the
how,
phone
it's
call.
all how we look at it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you ever get in the discussion with somebody, when does fall start? Well, fall starts to me on September 21st, or whatever that date is. That's
The 20th or 21st.
somewhere 21st, or winter starts December. Well, but then there's what I don't know what they call it exactly, but it's kind of like, it's not the calendar way of starting. It's kind of like what we think of as people. We think of winter starting like in November or something. I don't, maybe I'm talking out of my head here, but there's a little difference between what some people think things start. and what
Kyle calls it the meteorological.
they-
I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah, I
December.
mean,
So this first of December is winter, whereas if you go by the calendar, the winter
Thank
solstice
you.
Where's
is like
the equinox in this?
Yeah.
the vernal.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
but she's
after
right.
spring.
We think of December, January, February, March, and then we finally get to the March
yeah.
21st, I think it is.
But anyway, back to what you were
Yeah.
saying. He was very modest.
Very modest.
I only saw his World Series ring once. I think I know who has it, and I understand who has it. I wish I had it as his brother, but he didn't brag about it. He didn't wear it, which I wish he would, and just had it put away. And to him, it was, I'm sure at the time it was a big deal, but
Sure.
over the years, I even said to him recently, I used to try to visit him once a week. Sometimes I did and sometimes I didn't. But I said one day, "Where's your World Series ring? I'd like to see it." He said, "I don't know. I think
I was just gonna say, I bet you told
somebody
you I
in
don't
the
even know."
family has it."
Yeah.
Boy, I'd know where it was. I'd have it
Well,
probably
just-
hanging from my nose.
You know,
No, it'd be too big.
Yeah.
you know,
Not the nose,
but
the
that,
ring.
that
The
was
ring,
an error,
yes.
that was an error with it.
Maybe the nose too.
They just did it, and I remember I've seen my dad's youngest brother, Weldy Olson, played on the 60 Olympic team, which is the first Olympic hockey team ever to win a gold medal over the years. Not the Miracle on Ice, that's the 80 team. But anyway, one of the star players on the team, and they've done a documentary on that team now too, the 60 team. And the one guy by the name of John Mayasich out of Minnesota, and he's very candid about it, says, you know, most of us, they were all amateurs to start out with. This guy was running a radio station in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and it drove that even over trying to play pro hockey because you made more money at that time in the late 50s. And but he said, you know, we won the gold medal. I want to say there was hardly nothing near the celebration you get now, where all the team usually comes up and jumps up and
and
grabs their
carries
medal.
the Stanley Cup around.
I think they got their medals like in their room when they got back. But he said, you know, he says, we know what we did. We know what we did. I don't, you know, there was one. They only had one game on TV, the Russian game, which they won, but he said it. We won. We know we won. We're satisfied. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
and
that's
the
all
way
it takes
they-
to be satisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
And-
I have to tell you a quick story that he told me
I'd like
years
to hear it.
ago when he was with the Yankees, and he was pitching against the Boston Red Sox, and I believe the batter that came to the plate for Boston was a guy by the name of Jackie Jensen. Does that ring a bell with you?
He was good out. He's center fielder. Yeah.
And Jensen and Yogi Berra was his catcher, and allegedly, I say allegedly, Jensen says, "What's this kid on the mound got?" He said, "He's got an amazing breaking pitch. So be ready for it. And Yogi put his sign down for a fastball. Threw a fastball, strike one. And Jansen said to Bear, I thought you said he was going to throw some junk at me. No, get ready. Here, it's coming. He put the finger down for a fastball.
That's one.
Yeah, one. And he threw a fastball, and he took it again for a strike. He said, what's going on? He said, I'm telling you, he's going to throw it. So on pitch number 3, he gave the one finger sign for a fastball. And Zach tried to shake him off because he didn't want to throw another fastball.
Yogi had him set up.
Yogi Berra kept
And
the one
he
finger
was
down.
more of a veteran, so he
So he thought, okay, he knows what he's doing. He threw another fastball, and Jansen called Bear an SOB because he was lying to him.
He just set him up.
Yeah, he set him up perfectly.
I wonder one thing.
You know, one of the things he was known for was fastball, but I'm trying to think of a guy by the name of Ed Lopat, who was a breaking ball pitcher for the Yankees, started teaching him a pound ball. And I don't know if you know, well, you know more about it than I do, in the back of the hand. And it had a drop at that. That was his strikeout pitch.
No, that was, but the thing I'm trying to remember is, did he ever mention the fact of Elston Howard catching him too?
He liked, Elston Howard was a black ball player with the Yankees.
Basically,
very quiet guy.
Backup kind of moving.
He played first base. He would catch, and he played outfield as well. And yes, he spoke very highly.
Well, I heard
and Bobby Richardson. We interviewed him when we were on WAM. Zach managed to look him up, and as you know, he's second baseman and a Christian. I think he wound up as a baseball coach for the University of South Carolina. But he said that if in the locker room, if there was any profanity going on, he would get away from it. He didn't want to be a part of it. He was, I think Billy Graham had him on one or two of his programs.
I heard him speak one time at a baseball convention, American Baseball Coaches Association, and there was what they called an FCA breakfast that you could go to for free, and he spoke. And
very articulate young
very
man.
Articulate, and you know the Mendoza for the Indiana.
For Indiana,
pretty good
carrying
guy.
the message of
But,
Jesus Christ, isn't he?
He sure gives a lot of credit, and which is fine with me because
nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
But
all right.
But no, I'm sorry. Well, it really. I don't. Has it been in the paper yet? But I don't get the paper anymore.
No, that's being handled by the daughters. I can tell you that. Increasing cloudiness, a little warmer today. We're going to get up around 30. We can't do that quick enough as far as I'm concerned, because right now our temperature at 5 degrees. Now our pet tip of the day.
Today's pet tip is brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Pet lovers are dedicated to their animals, all species from horses to turtles and of course cats and dogs. If you are a pet lover, learn these little-known, somewhat amazing facts about your pet. As the weather turns warmer and outdoor activities increase, remember your pooch's sensitivities, especially his foot pads. Hot pavement can work like a blast furnace. Walk your dog in the morning or late evening when the ground is not as hot. Carry a small dog over the hot pavement to a grassy area. Walking over sharp, coarse gravel or on a running track can also damage a dog's foot pads. Foot pad injuries in dogs can range from abrasions, blisters, burns, ulcers, tears, punctures, and lacerations. The common clinical signs are limping, licking at the feet, or bleeding. You might also see cracking. This ailment is serious and needs to be attended to quickly. Anything other than a superficial abrasion should be treated by your veterinarian, as foot pads do not heal like regular skin. Home care for mild abrasions includes gently rinsing the affected foot under cool water, then an application of an antibacterial ointment. I prefer Veteriacin. It's a reliable wound solution that does not interfere with the wound healing process, but products such as Neosporin can also be used. Finally, place a nonstick Telfa pad over the foot pad and lightly wrap with vet wrap or an ACE bandage. The bandage should be kept clean and dry and changed daily until the pads have healed. This whisker of information has been made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in partnership with Spot, Saving Pets One at a Time, and KSBR Studios. Produced by Joseph C. McGuire and theme music by Stuardo Glasser.
Today's Pet Tip has been brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
You know, we were talking about my brother's career, and it's easy to say the highlight was appearing in the World Series. I was stationed in just out of Frankfurt, Germany, in a suburb called Herx, where the radio network had an estimated audience in Europe of 55 to 60 million, and it was the headquarters was actually in a German castle, the von Breuning Schloss, as it was, and we carried. I used to tell the guys when I was there that my brother was a pitcher with the New York Yankees, and in the Army, you know, people tell tall tales and BS and so forth. Nobody believed me. Well, we carried one of his games against the Red Sox, which the Yankees won 4-2, and that was one of his 4 wins with the Yankees after he was called up from Denver. And they still didn't believe it until they heard the announcer say Monroe is from Peoria and a graduate of Bradley University. Then and only then did they believe my statement. That's my brother. And then I went yeah for that. But you know, you look at what my brother achieved as an athlete, and you just had final services for your father. What would you say your father's crowning achievement was in his life as a hockey player and a promoter of hockey? What's it working with Pete Barnes-Banian to bring hockey to Peoria? Would you say that would be his crowning achievement?
It started, you know, with Pete, and a guy by the name of Rich Ricca down. Remember that name, Ricca, from the South End?
R-I-C-C-A.
R-I-C-C-A, Ricca.
Yeah.
And this was Rich. There was an administrator, too, by the name of Bill Ricca. Was that?
Oh, I do remember. He was a principal, I think, at
Roosevelt, maybe, or
Sterling, maybe a Roosevelt.
I think it was. I know he was at Roosevelt for a while, because his boy actually was a pretty good athlete too. That played at Bergen when we were there for Coach Knapp, and I would say once they really got going together and the hockey got going, you know, we went over to Pekin where they built that indoor rink, and we're saying, hey, you know, we can have.
Do they have still? Is the rink still there?
Oh, it's still there, going well.
Good.
Very nice facility.
Where does Bradley play? They have a hockey team.
Club. They play. Their home games are played at this Owens Recreational Center, named after
on Lake Street.
On Lake Street, yeah.
Okay.
You know, I always call it Lake Street.
I've driven by there and seen all kinds of cars. Are there skating events going on in there?
The hockey basically takes it over on Saturday and Sunday.
Well, that's. I thought maybe it was Peoria players. Look at all the cars there. What's going on?
On certain days, there's
on
a real battle.
certain days it is, because you
really?
And if you get the overlap like on a Saturday night, and then we have that Peoria Mustangs team too. Don't forget that's a high level travel for 16 to 20-year-olds.
That's
They play on Saturday nights, and if there are times when the two play, there is not enough parking.
No, it's
People will be
terrible trying
parking
to
on
park.
the whole ring that goes, up by the Bonnie Noble Center. And then there's even the old YMCA.
Yes, where the turtle pool was.
Yeah, I wish it still was.
Oh, I do too. That was a dumb
What
move
was
closing
that?
Go ahead, explain it to him.
It was called the turtle pool.
Turtle Pool.
And it had,
At Owens.
Well,
it was
Or
a building
Lakeview.
behind, out at Lakeview, yeah.
Okay,
You go way
YWCA
behind.
building.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
And
turtle pool, what was that?
it was a pool that had a current running around. It was
Okay.
a nice,
Kind of
What
what they,
what-
kind of like
water.
what they had at East Side.
No, that
No.
was
No.
more. What do you call that? That was another thing that. But this was actually for therapeutic walking.
yeah, it was
really.
therapeutic walking. And it also, you could roll people down with wheelchairs. It had a
Wheelchairs.
ramp, you could get them in there so they
No
could
kidding.
take advantage of the water.
Really?
And it was really neat because you could walk against the current if you wanted to get like more.
Which would be good therapy.
Very good therapy, and then they'd speed it up sometimes, and you could walk or float. It was a wonderful
Well,
thing.
my wife. went over
How
there.
large?
I did too.
How large was it?
Oh,
No, pretty large because they basically filled it in, and now it's another gym.
is that what? It, oh.
So it's gone now.
It's gone.
Yes.
There's no pool there.
Robert
inside.
Johnson, president of the trustee park board, is a regular listener. Maybe he'll call in and tell us why they decided Barden cut the water off.
I would imagine a high maintenance cost.
High
I mean,
maintenance.
it's,
Yeah,
anytime you
it
have
takes money
water,
to-
and then it had
And they have built now an outdoor water. They call them
Splash pads.
Splash pad, yeah, but
Yeah.
over there in the same area.
My understanding is they do have water facilities at the downtown.
YMCA.
No, on the riverfront.
Riverplex.
Riverplex, yeah.
Yeah, there's a pool there.
I've
yeah.
heard some people say they love the warm therapy pool that's available now down there. Maybe they felt that would take the place of the turtle pool. Yeah,
There was a lot.
you don't buy that.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
There was a
Well, I
lot of
tried my
people
best.
that used that, and my wife did. You know the name Bingo Kratz, maybe.
Oh, I
A
sure
long
do.
time
Yeah,
official.
Oh, yeah, that was-
referee.
yeah.
Bingo was there walking most days. That I remember when I'd go over.
Yeah, I'm told by more than one. My sister out in California gets into the pool every week
But-
and says the therapy is just absolutely wonderful, particularly for your joints.
Yeah.
You have more flexibility, and I need that. Maybe I need to go down there and join.
Well, the Methodist down at the atrium, they had a little fitness
Yeah.
center and
Yes,
had a
they
nice
did.
pool, and I
Did-
was taking like not
You-
quite
did you go
water
there?
aerobics, but there were water classes there, and then they stopped that.
Yeah. So is the atrium pool open today or not?
I don't know.
I don't know about that either.
But that building used to be a beehive of activity, and boy, I'll tell you what, it's fallen on hard times. They have a lot of empty offices, and I would not be surprised. The health club that they had, which made available for employees, was great. They had treadmills. They had the pool that was available, lifting weights.
Yeah, that's what I'm
and so-
talking about. And
yeah.
you could in the
You get a
pool
heck of a
you
workout.
look into the weight room.
Yeah.
Yep.
At any rate, back to your father, and that is,
I would
would
say
say what
bringing
he
pro
said
hockey
for
to Peoria.
hockey. Yeah.
For an area like Roger, when you were growing
Yeah.
up, there was no hockey per
No.
se.
It was unheard. The closest thing we did, we used to on the Illinois River,
Right.
when it would freeze, we'd get a stick. All of us would get some sticks,
Yeah.
and we used an empty soda can
Yeah.
or
for a
soup
puck.
can for a puck, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Until you would hear the sound of the ice cracking, and then we would head for
And
not
like-
so
and
fun,
like you
the
know,
shore. It scared the living
And-
daylights out of
and
us.
Being frozen on a good year, maybe be able to do that for a couple, 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
Yeah. Well, as you know, the depth was anywhere from 2 to 4 feet until you got to the channel, and then of course it got quite
deeper.
deep.
Yeah.
So, any rate, well, that wraps things up this first hour of Breakfast
Good
with
hour.
Roger and Friends. Coming in the next hour, we're going to talk to the Honorable Judge Steve Kouri. He will be our guest in our studio, and we're going to chat a little bit about the passing of Oh, the owner of the Brewers Distributing, and
George Jacob.
yeah, George
I
Jacob.
did get to his visitation.
What a
George
great
was a
gentleman.
good man that contributed to many things.
He certainly was. So that's coming up in the next hour. You're having breakfast with Roger and Friends on WHCU FM 90.7, also on YouTube. A pleasant good morning to everybody watching and listening to us on YouTube. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, January 20th. We begin our news block with a check of the weather brought to you by Steve Singh, Certified Business Intermediary with PHX Affiliates. Steve has been a business broker for over 16 years. He has sold businesses from $25,000 to $45 million. He specializes in business valuations. You can reach Steve at 309-696-8505 if you're interested in buying or selling a business. Weather-wise, increasing cloudiness, a little warmer today with a high near 30. However, wind chill values between 6 and 4 below. Tonight, more of the same with a slight chance for snow and overlay, a low of 25 degrees. Tomorrow it'll be sunny, windy, and we're up to 35 happy degrees tomorrow. Tomorrow night, however, partly cloudy, windy, and colder with a low of 17. Thursday, it'll be sunny and 28. Thursday night, very cold, low 1 below. Friday, a cold day. We're only going to get to 6 above on Friday, 4 below Friday night. Stay home Friday would be a good idea. Saturday, a high of only 9, and Saturday night, 1 above. And right now, our temperature at 5 degrees. And now, with our lead story, here's Story Chamberlain.
Tazewell coroner Charles Hanley has identified the woman pedestrian who was struck and killed by a pickup truck as Lori Boyce of Washington. The 63-year-old victim was pronounced dead at the scene in the 2300 block of Washington Road just before 6 p.m. Friday evening. Driver of the truck has not been identified as police continue their investigation of the fatal mishap.
Families with loved ones living at the Serenity Assisted Living and Memory Care Facility on Main Street in East Peoria have received a notice, and not a good one. It will soon close. Residents will seek new accommodation. Senior living facilities, including nursing homes, facing serious financial and staffing challenges. The profit margins are slim, getting slimmer, according to some local healthcare sources.
Nearby Riverview Nursing Home in East Peoria closed in March of last year, not long after it was acquired by Accolade Healthcare. Accolade purchased Morton Terrace and reduced its bed capacity soon thereafter with demolition of one of 2 of their buildings in an effort to reduce operational costs.
OSF Healthcare has announced that Sister Michaela Meinl will become the organization's next president. She's going to replace Michelle Conger, who's being promoted as CEO of OSF Healthcare, with the pending retirement of Bob Searing. Sister Michaela is currently Executive Vice President and Chief Ministry Officer.
In national news, so far no apology from Minnesota Governor Tim Walz about the invasion of anti-ICE rioters at a church in St. Paul. The rioters harassed church members during a Sunday service, frightening children as well as adults as they were worshiping.
Have you seen the video of that event taking place?
No, I have not.
Really nasty. Those people, those protesters, rioters, all of them, particularly one guy who was berating an older gentleman. They need to go to jail. Many of them, not all of them, should have been arrested. The rioters have also caused the closure of a number of hotels and motels in the Minnesota Twin Cities, citing safety concerns. Some reportedly said calls to police for help went unanswered. Federal sources complain some hotels are denying rooms for ICE and border agents.
Elsewhere in the country, a huge strike of nurses in New York City has entered its second week with no end in sight. The nurses are protesting for higher wages and shorter hours. Some have even started demonstrating in front of the homes of hospital executives.
The Supreme Court has ruled by a vote of 7-2 that candidates have a right to challenge late arriving mail-in ballots. County clerks' election boards have maintained ballots can be counted even after Election Day. The ruling comes after an Illinois Republican who easily won election said it was still wrong to count late ballots, a position also held by many, including President Donald Trump. Now we get more news from WCBU, brought to you by Sam Lilly and Associates, providing a comprehensive range of insurance products, including personal auto, home, life, and medical coverage. He specializes in Medicare plans and options, something he's been doing during his 40 years in the business. Sam knows insurance. You can learn more from Sam Lilly. His phone number, 309-245-4374.
From the WCBU Newsroom, I'm John Norton. The Peoria Park District will use a $600,000 state grant to pay for a host of improvements at Chartwell Park on the northwest side. Park District Executive Director Emily Cahill says the funding will pay for a new inclusive playground, improved walking paths, a new picnic shelter, and removal of invasive plants.
Most likely, the way the timing of this works, it will be sometime next year before you see those improvements as we work through design and then putting a project out to bid.
The grant comes from a package of $36 million awarded statewide through an Illinois Department of Natural Resources program. Cahill says Chartwell Park is on the district's short list of parks with older playgrounds in need of replacement. Authorities are investigating what led to the death of a pedestrian struck by a pickup truck pulling a trailer along Washington Road. 63-year-old Lori Boyce was hit in the 2300 block of Washington Road. That's between Meadow Lane and Briargate Road, right between East Peoria and Washington. Tazewell County Coroner Charles Hanley says Boyce was pronounced dead at the scene on Friday night. Illinois and 11 other states have sued the Trump administration over its move to withhold potentially hundreds of billions of dollars in grant funding from states that refuse to comply with the Trump administration's definition of sex and gender. Illinois allows its residents to change the sex on their birth certificate by signing a statement affirming their gender designation or intersex condition. Capital News Illinois reports the states called the latest Trump directive, quote, a novel and ambiguous funding condition. And Peoria Public Library is now the official Central Illinois regional sponsor of this week's Scripps National Spelling Bee. Library Executive Director Randall Yelverton says it's ideal for local students after the regional sponsorship was vacant for several years.
We feel like it's a perfect marriage of our mission, which is to develop a love of learning and reading, and what better than to get people studying words, loving words, because it's so important to what we do.
Peoria, Peoria County, and Peoria Public Schools are the library's key partners in the program. I'm John Norton.
All right, thank you, Johnny. Now it's time for Mikey. Mike Olson with the latest from the world of sports. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Good morning to all of our fine listeners. Well, Indiana from the Big Ten, well known for their basketball prowess over the years, especially during the Bobby Knight eras. They were winning national championships. But football was another story up until last year, really. They got to the college football playoffs and then were knocked out in about the second round. I think it was by Notre Dame, if I'm not mistaken. But they started to come, and this year they won the Big Ten. They finished 15. They finished the season last night 16-0. And won the Division I NCAA college football playoff, the CFP, right? College football playoff, with a nice 27-21 win over the University of Miami. The game was played in Miami, I believe played at the field where it's actually Miami's home field. And
But yeah, there was a lot of Indiana
They said
fans
about
there.
60-40, yeah. And no, Indiana really got behind this team and the new coach by the name of Signetti, Kurt Signetti. He's a cousin of, some people may recognize that name, he's a cousin of former manual assistant football coach by the name of Dave Signetti. And Dave ended up being
Where is Dave today?
you know what, he's in the Villages.
Along with Dewey Calmer and
Along with about
a lot of
250 to 500 other Peorians.
Really, that
Oh, yeah.
many down in the villages?
There's 140,000 people in the Villages.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
That's much larger than the city of Peoria.
It's almost a time and getting close to a time and a half almost. Or-
Have you been there? I think you
Yeah,
went
I
down.
visited.
You were a guest of Dewey's for a while, a couple times, were you not?
Well, I was down there with him. I was actually with Gary Sullivan's family,
Okay.
a friend of mine from high school and a former.
Are the houses all the same appearing? same
No, there's
architecture?
different. There's
Yeah,
many
there are,
different
okay.
levels too. I mean, you know, you can
Well, you can get
you
up
can get
to
one
half
for like
million.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can get one for
And
about
does it have its own hospital and
yes.
medical
Oh, yeah.
facilities?
Schools.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
The only people that can live in the Villages, if you're not, we'll say 60, whatever it is, 55 or 60, is you have to be employed by either the hospital or the schools.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In other words, there are some. They actually have a high school. Okay.
No
You say, well,
kidding.
why do you have high school?
You know, I look at it as a retirement,
Well, it is.
community,
It's the
but to have a high school
for the workers that work in the
I
hospital
see.
and the schools
and the school system,
and
I
all
see.
that, that's the only way that you can get in if
Wow.
you're not whatever the rate.
I know they don't have a state income tax,
No, they don't have state income tax, and
or the property taxes.
I don't know, but I know I was talking to a
Must be good. That's why so many people go.
cousin from Minneapolis.
Yeah.
he was on his. He called me. He said, "We're down in Florida at our place in Florida." He says, "Probably not going to come back till probably June." He said, "We're going to get our 6 months here and get residency." So it's getting a little rowdy up here in Minneapolis.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
But anyway, he's a retired doctor, and but no, there's the Villages. You know, there's a lot of little villages within the village. That's why they call it the Villages.
Okay.
And you have your own town, like your own little downtown area.
I assume they have restaurants just
A
like
lot of
any
restaurants
cities and so forth.
watering
Yeah.
holes and theaters.
Yeah.
you-
How's the crime?
I hear there's very little crime.
Okay.
I know it's documented. They have a little trouble with, you won't believe it, but venereal disease. Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't call that a little trouble. If you get it, it's more than a little.
STDs.
Big trouble.
That's the word I was looking
Yeah.
for, yeah.
What was
Well,
the word she?
STDs.
STDs,
okay,
yeah. But no, there's a lot of people down there. They've expanded now on the other side of even the interstate, and they just keep building. And like you said,
Where exactly is it located? Is it by Orlando? Is that where it is?
no, you can fly into Orlando. It's probably an hour from Orlando.
South or north?
More kind of north, in my mind, north west.
Is it closer to the Gulf of America or the
No,
Atlantic?
it's closer.
On the east side.
I'd say it's a little closer to the east side.
Okay.
But it's I think that's the way they're built. They're not on either of the bodies of
Okay.
water. There's just a little water on the. But there's a town called Ocala. Ocala. That's a little
right,
north. But they're
Any colleges or universities nearby?
yeah, that's a good question.
Well, we'll look it up.
We'll look it up. We
There's in
got our
charge
race
of that.
on it right now.
Let's talk about Indiana. and heck with
Indiana, right? Indiana just
Florida. Indiana.
beat Miami, 27-21, like I said, to finish 6-0. Good game. It was 10-0 at half, but the game ended 27-21, and Miami was driving.
Yes.
And if they threw a long pass, hoping to score and then kick the extra point and win it in the last minute, but was a little underthrown, and a safety came across and made a nice interception. And Indiana is now our NCAA Division I national champion with a 16-0 record. That's
pretty
not easy to
impressive.
do because,
No.
especially when you get in the playoff, you're playing. Any of those teams can beat you. They may not be as good,
Anybody,
but
you're
they're
right.
all.
They beat the living daylights out of Illinois. What was 63-10? Some ridiculous score.
Right. And they beat Oregon too, who was a
They
good-
thumped them pretty hard too.
Right. They beat Penn State in the regular season, and so they're more than deserving. And credit this Kurt Signetti for taking a program that was basically almost a bottom ender in the
Yeah.
Big Ten for
Annually for years
for
and
50
years.
years. 50 years.
They always played Illinois tough though,
Yeah.
even
Well,
in
it's
their bad
It's
years.
still a rivalry game.
Well, everybody did.
In the NHL last night, the Blackhawks 2, the Winnipeg Jets 0. Connor Bedard, their young phenom, had a goal coming off of a shoulder injury, and Jason Dickinson had a goal. And Spencer Knight was the winning goalie in a 2-0 win over the Winnipeg Jets. There were some high school basketball activities going on yesterday in the men's division. I'm sure there was some women's too around the area. At ICC, there was an MLK Day. They call them shootouts. They bring in a number of teams, but Richwoods High School defeated LaSalle Peru 89-69. That's a 20-point win for the Knights. Richwood sophomore sensation Amarion Smith Holly had 26 points. Down in Springfield, they had a shootout on the MLB shootout in Springfield. Peoria High School beat the Catholic school down there, Sacred Heart Griffin, 63-58, and the Manual Rams defeated Springfield High School 69-65. So basically, they had a chance to play some teams from little different areas, and Richwoods, Peoria High, and Manual were all victorious against either Springfield schools or a school from LaSalle, Peru. So congratulations to them. Bradley men had a tough day down in Normal on Saturday.
It was more
It was
than
a,
a
it was
a
about
tough
a,
win.
it was about
They
20,
got stomped.
about 25 points. And coach said it. We got beat bad, and they'll bounce back tonight. They play Indiana State at home tonight. No,
Tomorrow night.
Wednesday night. Excuse me. Wednesday night. Bradley will be at home, the men, and they'll be playing Indiana State, who they beat over at Indiana State. I think that was one of the overtime. road
was
wins.
it triple overtime?
So,
Wasn't
yeah,
it?
triple overtime. Thank you. And so it'll be a good game. I know I have not been able to go with my knee, but I plan to go tomorrow night and see the Braves. And
Was it a cold weather affect your knee that you had knee
I have no
replacement surgery?
effect on it. No.
Okay.
In fact, it's been almost 4 months now, and I'm going to get the other one done here shortly too.
Okay.
I've given it. But I just waited too long for this one. I've got no pain in it whatsoever.
Well, that's wonderful.
The other one is giving me a little trouble, but that'll be taken care of also by my good doctor. And that's sports on WAZU 90.7 FM in lovely Peoria, Illinois, and on the worldwide, we're on YouTube, right?
YouTube, you got it.
Boy, I tell you, you can get most anything on YouTube, can't you?
Pretty much.
Wonderful. We love hearing from our folks. Yes,
Here's a picture of
where
Florida.
the villages are. Boy, it's almost in the middle of the state.
It's in,
isn't it?
see,
the northern middle, I would say.
northern middle, that's why
Yeah, I like
you
that.
said
Yeah. No, it's in the North Valley.
Oh, yes, the North Valley of Florida, yes.
No, and I think the reason being, you can't buy the money for 140,000 people. You can't buy enough property on either coast. I don't think you'd be paying $1 million for your house, and you wouldn't be. I think you can buy some places down there, say a 2-bedroom ranch-style house, relatively new, maybe 140,000 somewhere in that 150,000.
All right, let's do we didn't do our quiz yesterday.
Oh, let's do it today.
On this day in history. January 19th, of course, most famous for Martin Luther King Day.
Sure.
But it was also in 1966, somebody else was celebrated. Who was it?
1966,
Yes.
January 19th.
Here in the United States?
No, not in the United States.
In Europe?
No,
Australia.
no.
Gandhi?
Think.
Gandhi?
Yeah. What about him? You got the name right.
Yeah.
What happened to him? Indira Gandhi
I would say he,
became
yeah.
The Prime Minister?
Prime Minister. Exactly right.
Well, that was the year I graduated from high school, so that's only, I
Should have
guess
been right on top of his
He was-
class there.
He
a little
was,
bit more than I normally am.
he was head of the Congress Party and thus Prime Minister of India.
Gandhi.
She was India's first female head of government, one of its most controversial. Prior to the death of Shastri, Gandhi served as Minister of Information and Broadcasting. She did news. She had her own show called Breakfast with Indira.
Well, I bet she won worldwide, though.
Yeah, that's right. She was elected. Good, Mike.
She
was elected by a
was
narrow
local.
margin in 1967, but in 1971 she won a resounding re-election victory and became the undisputed leader of India. That year she ordered India's invasion of Pakistan in support of the creation of Bangladesh, which won her greater popularity and led her new Congress party to a landslide victory in 1972. Gandhi was swept from office in 1977, but re-elected in 1980. Shades of Donald Trump. On October 31st, 1984, she was, I did not know that. What happened?
Assassinated?
Yes.
That's my,
I didn't
fact,
remember
that
that.
would've been my
She was
guess.
assassinated on the grounds of her own home, and she was succeeded by her son, Rajiv. Well, very good, Pam. All right, on today, speaking of personalities, 1945, who are we talking about?
Male or female?
Male. Good morning, good morning.
Right.
Come on in, Doc.
In the United States?
It was in the United States.
Thank you. Here, right there.
That's the honored guest chair.
Yeah.
The Honorable Judge
He-
Kouri
he
has
just-
entered the courtroom.
He throws a lot of softballs.
Would it be Franklin Roosevelt?
Yes.
Yes.
What about
1945.
Franklin Roosevelt?
He died?
No.
45. That's right.
January 20th.
That's right after
Franklin
the
D.
war,
Roosevelt.
right? Right after the war. Or thereabouts. Did he
What do
make-
you think
Did he
happened
make
to
one of his favorite speeches?
I don't know. He was elected to his fourth term?
Yes. Very good. He was inaugurated for the fourth
Oh,
time.
inaugurated, though. Okay.
Yes. Beginning an
I was going to
unprecedented
say, how do you do that?
fourth term that was cut short on April 12th of that year when he died. Where did he die?
In Georgia, at his, wasn't it, something Springs?
Yes. What kind of springs?
Hot,
Hot
Springs.
Springs.
Springs for his
No,
polio.
that's Arkansas.
Warm Springs?
Warm Springs.
I was going to
It
say,
got hot
I was
in
going to say
Arkansas,
Cold
but
Springs.
it was
Well, I know
only,
it has,
yeah.
but
I
Yeah,
thought it was
what-
Springs. Too. I mean, I thought it was Hot Springs, but it's warm.
And isn't there, what's the springs in Indiana? Is that Sulphur Springs
I think
or is that Hot Springs?
it might be.
There's something springs in Indiana.
There's one in Colorado
I know
too.
there's French Lick.
Colorado
which is a
Springs,
big
right?
resort place.
Colorado Springs.
What year did Roosevelt become president for the first time?
38.
36?
Lower,
32.
a little higher,
34?
34.
33.
Oh, 33.
Or 30.
So he elected in 32 and then inaugurated in 33.
4
Is that
years
what you-
later, Roosevelt was inaugurated for the second time at his third inauguration in what year?
1941.
That is correct. He acknowledged that the country still faced many problems, saying, "We know that we still have far to go." By the time of his fourth and final swearing in, Roosevelt not only had led the nation through the Great Depression, but was also leading the country and the world through World War II. Where was he buried? Where did they bury FDR?
New York?
Well, be more specific. New York is very good. That's pretty
West Point?
specific. That's a nice guess.
All right. Greater New York
He
area.
was buried at his estate along the Hudson River in what park?
Hyde Park?
Hyde Park, New York.
Good job.
Interesting.
Good job, Terry.
Very well done, ladies and
We
gentlemen.
had a good, Terry had a good day.
Yes, I would say that. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Every 2 seconds, somebody in America needs blood. You can help by donating blood at your local American Red Cross. Donating blood is easy. It only takes about an hour, and a single donation can help save more than one life. This is Alex O'Loughlin asking you to donate blood to help somebody in need. A friend, a neighbor, or somebody you haven't even met. Call your American Red Cross at 1-800-GIVE-LIFE or visit them at givelife.org. The need is constant. The gratification is instant. Give blood.
Think about everything that you save. You save gas, you save money, you save time. But have you ever thought about saving life? That's right, life. In just 1 hour, you could save up to 3 lives, giving 3 people more time with the ones they love. And isn't that the best thing to save? The need for blood is as universal as it is constant. Save life, give blood.
And we have news headlines and weather at the bottom of the hour. For investment questions and information, consider Bob Manning of the Grandview Capital Group at Morgan Stanley in Peoria. Bob is a senior vice president, and he's been in the investment advisory field now for more than 27 years. His telephone number, 309-671-4653, Morgan Stanley, Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. Terry has the headlines.
Tazewell Coroner Charles Hanley has identified the woman pedestrian who was struck and killed by a pickup truck as Lori Boyce of Washington. The 63-year-old victim was pronounced dead at the scene in the 2300 block of Washington Road just before 6 p.m. Friday evening. Driver of the truck has not been identified as police continue their investigation of the fatal mishap. Families with loved ones living at the Serenity Assisted Living and Memory Care Facility on Main Street in East Peoria have received notice it will soon close. Residents must seek new accommodations. Senior living facilities, including nursing homes, are facing serious financial and staffing challenges. The profit margins are slim and getting slimmer, according to some healthcare sources. OSF Healthcare has announced that Sister Michaela Meidel will become the organization's next president. She'll replace Michelle Conger, who will be promoted as CEO of OSF Healthcare, with the pending retirement of Bob Searing. Sister Michaela is currently Executive Vice President and Chief Ministry Officer. In national news, so far no apology from Minnesota officials about the invasion of anti-ICE rioters at a church in St. Paul. The rioters harassed church members during a Sunday service, frightening children as well as adults as they were worshiping. The rioters have also caused the closure of a number of hotels and motels in the Minnesota Twin Cities, citing safety concerns. The Supreme Court has ruled by a vote of 7-2 that candidates have a right to challenge late arriving mail-in ballots. County clerks and elections boards have maintained ballots can be counted even after Election Day. The ruling comes after an Illinois Republican, who easily won, said it was wrong to count late ballots, a position also held by many Republicans, including President Trump.
Judge Corey, do you agree with that ruling from the Supreme Court?
I always have to agree with
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's look at some of the stories we're following. Now a check of the weather. And the weather this morning presented by Advanced Medical Transport, the premier provider of emergency and scheduled ambulance services in central, western, and eastern Illinois. There are more than 500 AMT employees, men and women, dedicated to offering and providing the best in health care. Saving lives is what they do. What we do is give you the weather. Increasing cloudiness today, a little warmer, a high near 30. However, wind chill values, they say today, between 6 and 4 below. Tonight, a slight chance for snow, a low 25. Tomorrow, sunny, windy, a high of 35. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, windy, and colder, a low 17. Thursday, sunny, 28. Thursday night, very cold, low 1 below. Friday, a cold day. It's only going to get up to 6 degrees above zero. And 4 below the overnight low Friday night. Saturday night, degrees, that's 9 degrees. And Saturday night, it will be 1 above. And right now we're warming up. My goodness, we're at 7 degrees. And that's a look at the news and the weather at the bottom of the hour on Breakfast with Roger and Friends on this nippy Tuesday morning. And we're delighted to welcome an old friend, and I don't mean that in terms of his age, and certainly not my age, Steve Kouri. Let's say good morning, Steve Kouri. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Nice to be here.
You know, you don't live too far. Is there any chance you might have walked over?
No, not today.
No.
You took the Yugo, you got jumped in the Yugo and
I walked to my car, which was in the garage.
Yeah, okay.
That's as far as it got.
Does that count?
Well, it's been a while since you've been on the show. We've missed you. Let's talk a little bit about Steve Kouri. Native Peorian?
Correct.
And where'd you go to school? And where did what did your parents do when you were a little boy? What kind of work did your dad do?
Well, my dad was a butcher at Kouri Brothers on Jefferson by the Warner homes.
Yeah.
It was on the south side, was
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
And then when and my mother worked at Caterpillar. She was one of the first women to get her 30-year pin.
No
she
kidding,
worked before
really?
it was popular for women to work. And
What building did she work at?
you know
Do
what? I don't know that.
HH, maybe KK.
I
No, it
will,
wouldn't be
I will
KK.
say this, and this probably won't mean anything to anybody but the immediate family. She didn't go to college. And her kids, me and my brothers, were the only ones, were the first ones.
How many children in the family?
5 boys.
5 boys.
Wow.
Well, you had a basketball team.
Well, basketball, bowling, you name
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
We didn't have the height for basketball,
I was
but we
just gonna
still
say,
tried.
Yeah,
They were the,
yeah. You played Little League.
Yeah, so, but along the way, I was in grade school. My dad and mom risked everything they had to buy the Lariat Club.
yeah.
Yeah, what a history that is.
And the first night they had it, they had 5 customers.
Off to a booming start.
Yeah, but they worked hard, and we watched that develop, and the rest is history.
Yeah, was it always on,
Glenn?
Glenn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And what time didn't Daryl Klusendorf?
That's who
Dad's come along?
That's who they bought it from.
That's who they bought it
Okay.
from. That we've had. It's been in the family probably 50-some years.
What a great place. Still the best place for a ribeye steak,
Oh,
in
great.
my opinion.
Well, I'm a little biased, but
Yeah.
It's
well.
very good.
Well, how'd you happen to decide to become an attorney?
You know, it was a fluke. It was a fluke. I'm sitting. I went to Peoria Spalding. I'm sitting in a homeroom in the morning, and a law firm downtown, Vanaken, Lawless, Traeger, and Slevin, was looking for a runner, after-school runner, to deliver papers and that type of thing. And the homeroom teacher asked, put on a piece of paper what you want to be. I've never given it a moment's thought. And I wrote lawyer down. And I had to be the only one in the class that wrote lawyer down.
Interesting.
And so they called me in at the end of the school day, said, this law firm wants to interview you, and
Is that right?
And that's
how
how
it
it went.
started.
if I given my track record at Spalding, if some other kid would have put down lawyer, they wouldn't have asked me.
You probably wouldn't be speaking even here today.
I think you've been on the modest side, but was there a mentor at the law firm that took a special interest in you and pushed you to say, go to law school?
They all took me under their wing.
All of them did.
And I worked for them. I started working for them as a junior in high school. I would always, when I went to college, I'd always come back in the summer and work for them.
Oh, wow.
And it was always, you know, when you're young, you don't know. You don't. Exactly. And you pick things for the wrong reasons, and sometimes they work out right. So
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So I'm watching them go out every Thursday afternoon golfing.
That sounded good.
And I
Can we go Tuesday too?
Right. I said, how do you be a lawyer? So really, that's what I watched. But they were professionals, and they were good at what they did. Don Vanaken was the senior partner, and he was the first chairman of the Civic Center.
Yes, he was.
I didn't know that. What was his relation to Pete?
I think they were cousins.
Okay. Yeah. How'd you, who did you choose to go to law school, and what influenced that decision?
I went to the U of I. You know, just like in football, they have a top 20 poll. Back then, you know, well, they still do. Certain services rate the law schools, and Illinois was ranked pretty high, and I just wanted to get into the best law school I could get into.
Right.
And so you graduated from law school, and did you join a law firm, or did you go solo? You went back to Vanaken.
You know, like about probably 95% of my class in law school went to Chicago law firms. They were paying double what you would pay in Peoria. But I always wanted to go back to the Vanaken law firm, and I did. And, you know, you have ups and downs and bad days and good days, and you think, did I make the right move and all that? But in the end, it turned out pretty good.
Did you specialize in any one particular area?
I did commercial litigation, which is boring stuff. Contracts, breach of contract type things. But it paid the bills, and I didn't necessarily choose it. I was low man on the totem pole.
And they said, here's what you'll deal with.
I was going to say, you were assigned to that duty within the court.
What led to your ascension to being a judge?
Well, actually, it started, my path started when I was on the city council.
And what years were those?
Those were 93 to 97.
And what prompted you to do that?
Well, I always had an interest in politics. I would watch the city council meetings on TV, on the
public access channel 22.
And I'm thinking, why are they doing that? Those crazy whatever. And I could do that. And Bill Spears, who was a high school classmate of mine in '91, told me he was going to run for city council. And I helped him. And we got pretty close. And we both kind of talked about it and said, he said, why don't you run? And I said, well, I will run.
Okay.
And I had the good fortune of having in my district, my constituency, I had the Congressman Ray LaHood and the county board member Roger Monroe as my constituents.
And
so I better step up.
So you decided, you know what? Those guys need help. Yeah.
A little.
They were the best two constituents I had.
Well, you had more than two, that's for sure, because you did serve on the city council. And serving on that, being in as an attorney, prompted you were you invited? Did you say, you know what, I think I'd like to serve as a judge?
Well, when you're an attorney, maybe not all attorneys would agree with this, but really, to become a judge is the best of all worlds. It's it's the world's greatest job. I feel very fortunate to have it, but you don't really, I'm probably not going to say this the right way, you don't really aspire to be it because there's so few spots. It's unrealistic to think you could get that spot.
Kind of like maybe trying wanting to be a major league player, maybe.
Right. There's 1,000 lawyers in Peoria area, and there's maybe 20 judicial spots. So, but when I was on the city council, I started realizing that politically I had a leg up on other attorneys that might run for judge because I had some name recognition. I've been on the ballot before, that type of thing. So it didn't take long for some other attorneys who had political knowledge
Aspirations.
to ask me, why don't you run for judge? And that became a constant theme. So I started thinking, yeah, I could do it. That door could open. And I was on the city council till 97. Immediately after I was off the city council, I got phone calls. Run for this opening, this judicial opening, that judicial opening. But I felt like it was too soon. It would look like I was just doing the city council gig to use it as a platform, which was never the case. And so I waited till 2002 and ran and fortunate to win.
Yeah. What exactly is your title? Are you
Circuit
circuit
court
clerk?
judge.
Okay.
In Illinois, judicially, we break down the districts. We call them circuits. And there's probably 23 circuits or districts. We're the 10th Judicial Circuit. We have 10 elected judges, and those 10 elected judges appoint 11 associate judges. They're kind of the junior members of the law firm.
Yeah.
So
And do you run for retention every 4 years?
every 6 years.
6 years, right.
Good.
Is it what you thought it would be?
It's better. It's
Why is it better?
When you go to law school, most people want to go and help people and do good for people. And then you get out and you're in the private practice and the economics come in. You can't take every case. You have to worry about getting paid and keeping the lights on and so forth. And there's, I don't want to say a bad side to practicing law, but there are things that you didn't realize were involved. And when you become a judge, you get rid of all of that, all the stuff that is a pain and hassle
But aren't you?
deal with.
But aren't you really changing stressors? I mean, you go from what you describe as getting paid and making sure that you have enough cases to keep the lights on and so forth. Well, those go away by becoming a judge. But becoming a judge, you've got to stress that when you decide to make a ruling, you have to do a lot of research, and you have to feel in your mind that you're going to make the right decision. That's stressful, is it not? Because people's lives are at stake.
There is a lot of stress, some degree of stress.
Because I've noticed you've lost some hair. No,
I've noticed that about you too.
I know that.
I thought it was the aging process.
Well, I think you're exactly right.
I think you're right, huh? But I tell people, I have to be honest. I've been doing this for 23 years.
Has it been that long?
Yeah,
Wow.
I feel like I've worked 5 days. It's something new every day. A lot of the decisions you make, it's like in an interview, the interviewee makes the decision for you when you're interviewing
That's right,
somebody.
yeah.
A lot of the cases are clear-cut, and they made the decision for you once you hear all the evidence. There are some cases, like some cases are tried in front of a jury, which I prefer because I think juries are far more likely to get it right than one person. But some cases are decided in front of the judge. and I'll agonize over the case. I'll agonize. Who's telling the truth? I won't sleep or something. And I'll get up the next morning and go make the decision guilty, and the guy will go, oh, well, we gave it a good try. So they kind of give it away once you make the decision. Guilty people react like guilty people.
And
That's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, and you have a variety of different personalities as attorneys appearing before you. Give a list of some of those you like and don't know. I'm kidding.
Well, I'll
No.
tell you one who I
Okay.
like, who
Okay.
you know, is Kevin Sullivan.
Isn't he a wonderful guy?
And I hear him on your show once or twice a week, and
Yeah, he's very good.
don't tell him this, but I learn things from him.
Yeah. He's a marvelous gentleman.
Seems to be.
And I know you've gotten acquainted with your fellow judges. And talk about Bob Manning. You know, Bob was a pretty special. He was my late brother's best man when they got married. And his son is just absolutely a wonderful guy. I've heard so many funny stories about Bob Manning. He had a dry sense of humor.
Yes, he did.
What was your relationship with Bob, if I may
Well,
ask?
I never was fortunate enough to serve on the bench with him as a judge. I appeared in front of him a number of times, and he's the gold standard. You know,
Pretty good.
he was really good. He treated you with respect. You knew you were going to get a straight answer without bias. It was, if you established your case, you were going to win, and if you didn't, you were going to lose.
Yeah. Another guy that I had a great affection for that I want you to talk about, because I know you knew State's Attorney Jerry Brady.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jerry.
You talk about a gold standard for State's Attorney.
Jerry was
He was
good man. He was a good man. I was chief judge when he was state's attorney, and we worked together on some projects, and we miss him to this day.
When one day I had lunch with him at Jim's in downtown Peoria, and a group of judges came in together. Is that common? Do you judges have lunch, maybe compare notes and raise questions with one another? Or do you
It's
just
common,
a
but-
group of fellows and gals who like to get together?
It's common. Some we're all different human beings, and some judges keep the case to themselves and make a decision and don't talk about it. I'm a little different. I like to take my time when I'm making a big decision, and I'll run it by others. They usually don't.
Interesting.
But the others can only be another judge. You can't run it by your wife.
You're not going to call Terry up and say, Terry, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
And so it just varies. But there's a group that goes out to lunch together, and
That's what I thought. I thought it was fascinating. I asked Jerry, I said, do you want to offer to buy lunch for them? He said, no, you can't do that, Roger, as much as you want. Is one of the concerns that you have as a judge in a particular difficult case as that you're presiding over, in the back of your mind, do you think regularly or once in a while, I wonder if this decision is going to get reversed?
yes and no. I don't.
You don't worry too much
Well,
about whether you're going to get reversed?
I don't worry about whether I'm going to get reversed. I've been reversed. I've been affirmed a lot. But it does enter my mind in the sense that, I think they're going to reverse this one. But I don't worry about it. You know, like, I do a lot of cases in criminal court, a lot of them. Like in 23 years, I've probably been assigned to criminal court 15, 16, 17 years. And almost all of those cases that are found guilty are automatically appealed. So I've had hundreds and hundreds of cases appealed. So I know when a case is going to be appealed, and it does enter my mind, well, that one might not make it through because it's a close call or whatever.
But when you get affirmed, do you go into your chambers and say, hey, yeah?
No.
No, you don't do that? I would.
Well, let's put it that you feel better.
Well, arrogantly, I think, well, of course I should.
Yeah,
be affirmed.
exactly right.
So,
Yeah.
but you know, like when you're appealed, it's a panel of 3 judges. So if I rule one way and I get reversed 2-1, which is frequently what happens if I'm reversed, it's usually 2-1. I just figure it's really 2-2.
Yes.
If you count my
Yeah,
vote.
because you count my,
That's a good way to look at it. Well, at least 1-2 was on your. I mean,
Right.
so it's not like it was a cut and dry deal why it was appealed and won. So.
We're talking with Circuit Judge Steve Kouri this morning, so I hope you could join us. We have 7 degrees high today, near 30. What goes into when you the jury finds the accused guilty? What goes into your evaluation of what kind of a sentence to go to deliver? What's some of the criteria? Their background, their previous, whether they've been arrested, whether they're a habitual criminal. That has to be somewhat of a stressor as well.
Well, there's a sentencing range. Each case, the type of crime that was committed, has a sentencing range, and like murder is a minimum of 20 and a maximum of 60. Well, that's a pretty long number line. And if you're the one doing the time, there's a big difference between 45 and 44 years. And you might think, well, it's murder, just give him the 60, which frequently I do. But the sentencing ranges leave a lot of discretion to the judge. One of the things I look at is criminal record, their past history, and whether it was violent or not. If it's not violent, I'm a little softer. If it's violent, they're going to get it.
Yeah. Big question, going back to your beginnings, your family, and so forth. What's the difference between a kouri with a K and a kouri with a C?
The best explanation I have ever gotten is that it was just a thing at Ellis Island.
Yeah, I agree.
Have you been to Ellis Island?
Yes.
It's pretty emotional, isn't it? I was there, and I saw my mother's father's name. Carl Rody was the name. I don't know how common is Rody in German, the same as Smith or Chamberlain or Olson, for that matter. So when I saw that name, it almost brought tears to my eyes to think, because I felt it was my grandfather, for that matter. What was your experience when you were there?
It's similar. It's ironic, given what we're dealing with as a country today about all the issues and the disagreements over immigration, and yet how it was handled back then and memorialized through Ellis Island.
Well, speaking of Kouri, we want to talk about George Jacob, because Janine, I believe, is a Kouri.
Correct.
And you knew George. Tell us about your friendship. I have been told by a couple of people the eulogy that you presented at the service for George was very moving, and was one of the most beautiful, as one person told me he had ever heard someone deliver, that you gave in memory and honor of George Jacob.
Well, George was one of those quiet leaders that we manufacturer here in central Illinois. What was really eye-opening to me, and I go way back with George, more on the political side than anything else, but I've known him for decades, was, he had a bad accident 15 years ago.
Yep.
He was on the city council. He was involved in so many things outside of city council, in the business community and in the not-for-profit community. And then all of a sudden, he's off the stage for 15 years. And then, in local politics, when you leave the stage, you're forgotten. I tell judges all the time, because we all have egos. I tell them, the minute you walk out of here, nobody's going to remember you.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, right. But with George, he's been out of the scene, off the stage for 15 years, and the turnout was enormous.
It was, wasn't it?
And that symbolized how many people he touched from back then in a major way to turn out 15 years later.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to get to his visitation, and I first met George. He was playing youth hockey in our program.
He loved hockey.
Yeah, down at the old Logan Ice Dome, and he looked just so strong, and I saw a nice picture of him in his uniform and everything. But you're right, and Janine, is she your cousin? That's what I thought. Just a wonderful person. And then of course Bud, he was trained well by Bud.
Yeah.
Bud, his father. But I mean, whether it be the Cardinal Caravan, whether it be midnight basketball, he just didn't have one niche either. He was across the board just a flat out doer and giving back to this community. I have so much respect for Janine and her children, what they dealt with for 15 years, and but I think you bring up a great point. Like you say, at most of us, once you're gone, and you're obviously not in the news very much, and I do think a little bit has to do with the tragedy of his accident too. That took the whole area by surprise, or by concern, really, because he had about 4 boys and 1 girl, 5 boys maybe and 1 girl, and
4 and 1.
And they weren't very old. They weren't very old, and boy, she did a wonderful job.
Well, one of the things that came through, I had a very moving conversation with the kids for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the eulogy was really written by them.
Yeah.
I did the transcribing, but
I think you're being a little modest,
but
Steve.
one of the things that came out was George was still very involved in their lives for 15
right.
for the 15
That's right.
years. He was homebound, but Janine kept him involved in the kids'
That's nice.
lives, and
You could tell that.
We only have a couple of minutes left, and I'm leaving the most difficult question for the end. I've known Steve Kouri for a number of years, and I lived on Overbrook Drive, and if you go west, you almost would drive into Steve's driveway. Well, we had a nice subdivision. It was called Wardcliff. And we neighbored with one another and so
Off of
forth.
Sterling, right?
And then suddenly he left. And he just went on the other side of Forest Hill. And a group of us all got together, and we wanted to go beat him up because he just gave no reason to leave. We treated him with respect and honor. But so the question is, why did you move out of Wardcliff?
So we had
that better be good, because we have a jury of panel here.
Okay, so we just got done, which In actuality, it's 10 houses away from where I lived.
Is that what it is?
It's 10 houses.
Yeah, but it's on the other
I
side of
know.
the tracks.
It's outside of Wardcliff, which was the 4th highest voting precinct. That's how we think.
That's right.
In the city.
Yeah.
And so my wife wanted to redo the kitchen in the house.
So let's just move, right?
No. And I said, all right, but if we do it, we're not moving for 10 years. So we did it, wrote the check, all that. And like about a year later, she comes in and says, I found our new house. I said,
What happened to the
I didn't know we were moving.
Got 9 years yet.
And you know what? We bought that house. It was Jim Agatucci's house.
Oh, man.
Is that right?
And it's right next to Phil Salter.
Well, see, I concluded that you had higher aspirations politically,
You did Phil on
and
your
you
side.
knew moving next to one of the most influential Democrats in the city of Peoria would help your career. And so he is your neighbor.
So one day, it was a cold day like this, and I come home from work, it's dark out, and my driveway is shoveled.
It's Phil.
And I thought, it didn't occur to me I thought, who did that? Who
It
did
occurred
that?
to me who it was.
Yeah. So 6 months later, I'm out driving home, and it's in the summer, and Phil's cutting part of our grass, and it occurred to me, that was Phil who shoveled my driveway.
Yeah, what a great guy.
And he said, here he has a heart attack, and he says to me, well, I don't want you to move.
This is a funny story. Well, God bless you. Thanks for coming in, Steve.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you. Longtime friend and a great member of our community, and you dedicated your life to public service.
Well,
That's
I
wonderful.
feel very fortunate in what I've been able to, the position I have.
Yeah.
So, and I owe that to the public.
Yeah.
And I listen to you folks every morning. Should I say I take a shower with you?
Yeah. No, no.
While we're on the air, you're taking a shower.
Right.
Let's
Thanks
All
for
right.
coming in to see
thanks.
us.
Good to see you, Ron.
God bless you.
Thank you.
You
Nice
bet.
to see you.
Steve Kouri, Honorable Judge from the 10th Judicial Circuit. We continue with news, weather, sports at the top of the hour on WACU FM 90.7 in Peoria, Illinois, and also on YouTube this morning. I love playing that music. That's from a CD from, you remember her name?
Michelle McLaughlin?
Michelle McLaughlin of, I think, Salt Lake City. Was that, I think, the city she's from? And wonderful piano artist. And many of the songs, if not all of them, are her own personal compositions. Well, let's get into our news, weather, and sports block on this Tuesday morning, the 20th of January, and we begin with a check of the weather brought to you by Kyle Varnold, providing personal and business insurance for auto, home, life, and health. Kyle works with multiple carriers to find policies for individuals, families, and businesses, while at the same time building long-term relationships and personalized service. Kyle available very shortly at 9 o'clock at 309-682-0519. What kind of weather we're having today? Cloudy, a little warmer. We're going to get near 30. Wind chill value is still very cold, between 6 and 4 below. So it's cold out there. Tonight, a slight chance for snow, overnight low 25. How about tomorrow? Sunny, windy, and a high of 35 tomorrow night. Partly cloudy, windy, and colder with a low of 17. Thursday will be sunny and 28. Thursday night, very cold, low 1 below. Friday, another cold day. We're only going to get up on Friday to 6 above. and the overnight low Friday night 4 below. Saturday 9 and Saturday night 1 above. And right now we are at 8 degrees. And now with our lead story, Terry Chamberlain. Terry?
Tazewell coroner Charles Hanley has identified the woman pedestrian who was struck and killed by a pickup truck as Lori Boyce of Washington. The 63-year-old victim was pronounced dead at the scene in the 2300 block of Washington Road just before 6 p.m. Friday evening. Driver of the truck has not been identified as police continue their investigation of the fatal mishap.
Families with loved ones living at the Serenity Assisted Living and Memory Care Facility on Main Street in East Peoria have received notice from owners it will soon close the facility. Residents must seek new living accommodations. That's not going to be easy.
No.
Senior living facilities, including nursing homes, ladies and gentlemen, are facing serious financial and staffing challenges. It's about money. The profit margins are slim and getting slimmer, according to some healthcare resources.
Nearby Riverview Nursing Home in East Peoria closed in March of last year, not long after it was acquired by Accolade Healthcare. Accolade purchased Morton Terrace and reduced its bed capacity soon thereafter with demolition of one of 2 of their buildings in an effort to reduce operational costs.
OSF Healthcare announcing that Sister Michaela Meidel will become the organization's next president. She's going to replace Michelle Conger. She is being promoted as CEO of OSF Healthcare, and that's due to the pending retirement of Bob Searing. Sister Michaela is currently Executive Vice President and Chief Ministry Officer.
In national news, so far no apology from Minnesota Governor Tim Walz about the invasion of anti-ICE rioters at a church in St. Paul. The rioters harassed church members during a Sunday service, frightening children as well as adults as they were worshiping.
The rioters have also caused the closure temporarily of a number of hotels and motels in the Minnesota Twin Cities, citing safety concerns. Some reportedly said calls to police for help went unanswered. Federal sources complain some hotels are denying rooms for ICE and border agents.
Elsewhere in the country, a huge strike of nurses in New York City has entered its 2nd week, with no end in sight. The nurses are protesting for higher wages and shorter hours. Some have even started demonstrating in front of the homes of hospital executives.
The Supreme Court has ruled by a vote of 7-2 that candidates have a right to challenge late arriving mail-in ballots. County clerks and election boards have maintained ballots can be counted even after Election Day. The ruling comes after an Illinois Republican who easily won in his race still said it was wrong to count late ballots, a position also held by many, including President Trump. Now we're going to get news from WCBU, brought to you by Matt Wall, CPA, and tax specialist with Gordon Stockman Wall. Tax time just around the corner, and now's the time to start planning. Matt has experience in federal and state tax compliance, employee benefits, estate, and trust tax planning. You can learn more from Matt. He's available today at 309-692-4030. That number again, 692-4030.
From the WCBU Newsroom, I'm John Norton. The Peoria Park District will use a $600,000 state grant to pay for a host of improvements at Chartwell Park on the northwest side. Park District Executive Director Emily Cahill says the funding will pay for a new inclusive playground, improved walking paths, a new picnic shelter, and removal of invasive plants.
Most likely, the way the timing of this works, it will be sometime next year before you see those improvements as we work through design and then putting a project out to bid.
The grant comes from a package of $36 million awarded statewide through an Illinois Department of Natural Resources program. Cahill says Chartwell Park is on the district's short list of parks with older playgrounds in need of replacement. Authorities are investigating what led to the death of a pedestrian struck by a pickup truck pulling a trailer along Washington Road. 63-year-old Lori Boyce was hit in the 2300 block of Washington Road. That's between Meadow Lane and Briargate Road, right between East Peoria and Washington. Tazewell County Coroner Charles Hanley says Boyce was pronounced dead at the scene on Friday night. Illinois and 11 other states have sued the Trump administration over its move to withhold potentially hundreds of billions of dollars in grant funding from states that refuse to comply with the Trump administration's definition of sex and gender. Illinois allows its residents to change the sex on their birth certificate by signing a statement affirming their gender designation or intersex condition. Capital News Illinois reports the states called the latest Trump directive, quote, a novel and ambiguous funding condition. And Peoria Public Library is now the official Central Illinois regional sponsor of this week's Scripps National Spelling Bee. Library Executive Director Randall Yelverton says it's ideal for local students after the regional sponsorship was vacant for several years.
We feel like it's a perfect marriage of our mission, which is to develop a love of learning and reading, and what better than to get people studying words, loving words, because it's so important to what we do.
Peoria, Peoria County, and Peoria Public Schools are the library's key partners in the program. I'm John Norton.
All right, boys and girls, let's get into the world of sports. Former coach, teacher, mentor, you name it. This guy's done it. Michael Olson, what do you have for us this morning? Big game last night.
Well, the big game last night was between the Indiana University football team and the Miami Hurricane. First half dominated, in my opinion, by Indiana to go up 10-0. Okay, but then in the third quarter, Miami made it 10-7. You could kind of feel Miami coming, and then next thing you know, it was they blocked a field goal, so it went. They being Indiana blocked a Miami punt. I'm sorry, it was actually a punt,
Okay,
and they went into the end zone, and they got it easy. I call it that's an easy 7 points. You block it and you recover it in the end zone, and you got 7 more points. So it goes to like 17-7, and then it goes 17-14, and then next thing you know, it's 24-21, and you can feel it's getting closer, but the Indiana does kick a field goal to make it 27-21.
Was that a good decision? How many yards did they have to go to get a first down?
Oh,
Too many?
yeah, probably. You
Okay.
know, they've got all that stuff done now on
Yeah.
computer, and you know, and then one other time when they scored a touchdown, they went for it, you know, rather than kicking the field goal to go up, you know, a couple more points, which ended up kind of being the difference. But it ended up 27-21 late in the fourth quarter, and then the final score was the 27-21 in favor of Indiana, who basically, I don't think it's way off to say Indiana. I believe they won the Big Ten in like 1968 and went to the Rose Bowl. 1968, you know, we're talking what, 58 years ago or so, somewhere.
Long time.
Yeah, I mean, basically most of my lifetime, Indiana was one of those teams that you were supposed to beat. You know what I'm saying? But it started last year. He had a good year. Went to the playoffs. A guy by the name of Kurt Signetti took over the program. He came from James Madison University. One thing. He was very successful at James Madison, and you know, one thing nice about the transfer portal for these guys that leave one school and go to another, they've already had a tryout for 3 or 4 years with some of the players they take with them.
Yeah.
That in other words, he had a starting linebacker. So you're not teaching a whole new group. You're teaching maybe 10 guys that you bring that were good in your program, and now you bring your own guys in that you bring in through the transfer portal. So, I mean, he obviously did it, and it'll be copied by others. I know we're doing the same thing at Michigan State right now, hiring the ex-coach from Northwestern, Pat Fitzgerald, and I'm sure they're going to take note of how this guy took a school that had basically little or no respect in football, and in 2 years he wins a national championship, you know, beating the likes of the other great conference schools around the country. So, but Indiana is your 2026 NCAA Division I college football playoff champion with a 27-21 win over the Miami Hurricanes. At ICC yesterday, there was some basketball celebrating the MLK Day. Richwoods beat LaSalle Peru 89-69. Richwoods has a I'll call him a sensational sophomore. Amarion Smith Holly had 26 points. He'll be recruited very heavily. If you're doing that as a sophomore in the Peoria area, he'll be recruited heavily, I guarantee, and is being recruited now. Then there was a nice MLB shootout down in Springfield where two of our public schools went. Peoria High School beat Springfield Hart Griffin 63-58, and Manual got a win over Springfield High School 69-65. So the three public high schools, Peoria High, Manual, and Richwoods, were all victorious yesterday. BU men, coming off basically a big loss at ISU, will play Wednesday night at home in Carver Arena against Indiana State, who they beat, I believe, in a 3 overtime game over in Terre Haute. So good luck to the Bradley men on Wednesday night. And if our good friend Mr. Holly drives the charter bus for the women's program, if they would give our leader Roger Monroe a quick call, we could get a little information on the women's program. They're both the men and the women are having good years. Let's just keep them going. And that's sports on WAZU 90.7 FM. Lovely, Peoria, Illinois.
You got it. Thank you. Well, this is hour number 3 of Breakfast with Roger and Friends on WAZU. And earlier on our program, you were complimenting the leader, the coach, the recruiter, the cheerleader, Jean-Guy Trudeau.
Yep.
And it is a tribute to this community that's made Coach Trudeau so comfortable here that
he stays.
He stays.
Yeah,
and he keeps bringing championship teams to the community.
Very, very good man. He was here when he was on his way up. He actually played here for the Rivermen.
For the Rivermen,
so I've known him for about...
Where's he from? I know he's Canadian,
Yeah.
with the name of either that or France, from France.
Right. I think his dad was originally, he was obviously a French Canadian.
Yes.
Probably in the Montreal area, but eventually I think the family settled in a little town called Sudbury, Ontario. Sudbury, I think it was a little mining town up in northern Ontario. Good hockey area. I know I had the good fortune of playing at Michigan State with about 5 or 6 kids that were from that area. And it's northern Michigan's high, but northern Ontario even goes up higher. I mean, it's 600 miles to the top of northern Michigan, the Upper Peninsula.
Yeah.
Then you got to go from there. You go through.
You have family still in Escanaba?
I don't have any family in Escanaba.
Okay.
My dad and his brother were the only two that left Marquette and went to Escanaba after they college.
How many inches of snow would there be in Escanaba today?
Well, they had about 1.5 feet a while back.
Oh, really?
But where they really get it, remember, Escanaba is on the top of Lake Michigan.
Yes.
That's the warm lake.
Mm-hmm.
Lake Superior is the cold lake. They had anywhere from 3 to 6 feet about 2 weeks,
oh,
3
my
or 4
goodness,
weeks.
Yeah.
They'll get 300 inches up there this winter.
And they know how to drive it. They know how to remove it. I mean, they've got the equipment, the expertise. They don't have Cy Maroon.
No, they don't have Cy. But I'll tell you, Cy does a great job. But the difference is, and they're used to it. The people have the equipment they need. I know when I was a kid, God, they put clinkers on the.
Oh yeah, cinders.
People had chains on their wheels.
Oh, yeah.
Chains,
and then some of them used to have studded tires.
Yeah. I mean,
that became outlawed.
They know what they're doing. These.
I
these
know
people,
they do.
And it's got better today, but and I think like in a lot of areas, maybe not as quite as as bad it was once. I know my dad said one time he remembers it snowed 40 days in a row.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
That's a lot of snow.
And the difference up there too, my wife has the area on her weather, and she said they're looking at, we're going to get to -3, I think, by Friday or something, -4, close anyway. They're looking at 14 below, 18 below.
When you're not talking about wind chill, you're talking about
I'm talking
real
actual
temperatures.
Temperature.
Yeah.
Well, in Wisconsin, one
She
year,
was northern Wisconsin and upper Michigan.
Where were you in Wisconsin?
Stevens
Terry?
Point, which is
Stevens
actually
Now,
central,
where is that?
It's
right in the
central.
center of the state.
Right,
Okay.
but you're still getting up there. I mean, you're how far from Madison? You're
An hour and a half.
Yeah, I'm
north
going
of
to say about
Madison.
100 miles to north of Madison.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take Madison, the north of it, and you go due east, you'll run into places like Fond du Lac and that on the Lake Michigan side. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
And you're up there, but you're right. It's not Rhinelander and Eagle River and
in Tomahawk and all that.
Tomahawk, right?
Okay,
By comparison, I have a grandson who lives and works in the Dallas area, and their temperature dropped to 32. Do you know they? And I may be a little wrong on the temperature, but around that, they canceled school. Told employees they didn't have to come to work because it was too cold. He went to work anyway, and he said there was nobody there.
yeah, I
He
can
said
believe
these people are nuts.
Well,
He didn't say they were nuts.
they had
but-
0.2 inches in Pensacola, over this past
Oh,
weekend.
but that was a disaster.
Well, no, we went down there last year, like in, the end of January, 1st of February, and they did have a pretty good snowstorm of 2 or 3 inches last year, which is
Well, that's not a snowstorm.
well,
Not for us, but
I
Yeah.
kind of kidded my son-in-law who owns the place that we're able to stay in, my daughter's husband.
Did you take skis down there?
Well,
with
I
you?
told him, I said, we're going to buy you a shovel
Yeah.
next year. We got to get a shovel. done.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah,
that's the
that's
biggest
funny.
difference.
Yeah,
Roger.
they're not prepared
if
for it.
they
are
see
they?
that white stuff on the ground, they're not going to jump in their car.
Panic sets in their heart.
That's like
Yes.
jumping into a lion's pit or something.
well, like Dad found out. He was stationed in Augusta, Georgia,
Oh,
which is
geez.
where I was born, and he said, "Yeah, the snow down there. First of all, people let their tires go so bald, so they couldn't handle the snow because they were sliding all over it. They didn't know what to do with it. Yeah,
It didn't have any equipment to do anything
No, they have
with
no
it. You
equipment to
just
do
have
anything
wait
with
for-
it.
And it will eventually melt in those areas. But that's the difference up north is especially way up in the upper peninsula, is once the snow starts in, sometimes as early
In
as
October.
late September, right, or early October, it's on you don't see the ground again until almost April 1st.
I just looked up Houghton because
Houghton that's one of them.
that's way up north. That's where
Michi-
Carl could have gotten. There's a
Oh,
place in
you don't wanna
Iowa,
go to Houghton. I
Houghton,
was
Michigan,
born-
or Stevens Point, were the beginning stores. And
Tell us about Houghton. That's where I was born. That's where Michigan Tech's at.
You were born in Houghton?
Yeah, Houghton, Michigan.
I think had we gotten Houghton, one of us would not be here, and it would be most likely him because I would have killed him. But anyway, current conditions in Houghton: snow depth 17 to 20 inches in
my
local wooded
goodness.
areas.
17 to
As high-
20.
I've seen pictures as high as your gutters.
Oh yeah, they
Are you serious?
a good friend of mine her father was from Houghton, and so she somewhere up there with her grandparents and that, and she'd show me pictures. The storefronts, and they dig out, and then they put planks of wood.
I knew you were going to talk about the planks of wood.
Yeah, to support the snow around it.
I used to try to explain that to people.
What about
actually-
the planks of wood?
On top of the snow.
Yeah, they
Like the snow is, remember, the
steps it.
snow is 10 feet
But
high.
will you slide down?
no.
Or
Okay,
would-
so
Because
you
the
have your
snow is
door.
packed?
It's up,
Get the
it's,
door.
up, it's up the top of your door, I guarantee
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
So they've dug out,
Yeah.
and then so it doesn't collapse, they put planks of wood above it to support it, so that
Oh, I
it doesn't
see.
have an avalanche down.
I see.
So her dad,
I knew you were going to talk about that.
they moved to Milwaukee. That's where she
Oh,
was
yeah,
raised.
that's
So
something.
her dad was going somewhere, and there was a blizzard, and they were trying to close the roads. And so her dad's, and he's plowing
Yeah,
through,
driven
and
this.
the state trooper stopped and said, "Sir, the roads are closed, and you can't go there." And he goes, "I'm from Houghton, Michigan." "Oh, never mind.
Go on through.
Be careful, sir, and go on through."
Bring it on
That's
through.
exactly what
Bring
it
it on
was.
through. At least you'll clear up. You'll have what I call a 2-track then for some
Yep.
people, and we're probably talking with maybe 8 to 10 inches.
Yep.
What did you just say? 17.
7 to 10. Yeah, 17
No,
to 20 right
17 to 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little different than even.
Yeah.
I mean, and we had, remember, we've had some good ones here.
We've had
too.
some good snowstorms. You bet we
67,
have.
the middle of January of 67.
Yeah.
That was that we had we had like 2 feet, 2.5 feet. I think the actual bubble actually came down even.
Well, at any rate, but sports question for you, Coach.
Sure.
Indiana went 16-0. I didn't realize that,
Yep.
but that was the first time a college football team went 16-0
Right.
in how many years?
Ooh.
And who was the last team in college football to go
do that?
16-0? I am shocked and dismayed at the answer to this. And you have to go back. I'll help you out
Was it Oklahoma?
to the 1800s.
Oh my God. Oh wow. See,
Yes.
I think once the universities kind of stepped, there was a time when some of the universities wanted to drop football because it was
Like Bradley.
like it was, well, I mean, back in the early, but too violent, too expensive, whatever
Too expensive, I think.
yeah,
The big
was Bradley's deal, right? But what I'm getting at is, yeah, I know.
Okay, what are you getting at? Well, anyway, I'll go back to my original question.
It'll remind me.
Tell me what university it was,
Yeah.
and I'll help you out. Particularly since it's in the 1800s, late 1800s, it was an Ivy League school.
Rutgers,
Rutgers, incorrect.
Harvard.
Close.
Yale.
Yale. And what was the year that Yale went 16-0? I've already helped you out a little bit by saying the late 1800s.
1895.
Ooh, oh my, that was so close. It just
1896.
you went the wrong direction.
1894.
I gave it to Terry.
Yeah, have you ever been told you're on vacation and you stop to get direction? They say you're going the wrong way, Roger. 1894. Yale
Plenty of
went
times.
16-0.
What
I didn't realize that. I thought we had teams
Well,
before
I think
that
what happened,
went
this is what I was
undefeated.
going to say. There came a time, I think, when they started to restrict the number of games a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
when I remember being a student at Michigan State, going to football games, even selling programs to make an extra nickel or dime. We made more than that. We made $30 or $40. But anyway, I think they played
Yeah.
10 regular season games.
Mhm.
Even the high schools now, because of the state playoffs, for all those years up until the state playoffs in '70, I think they started in '74. You only played 10 games. That's it. You had the around here the Turkey Day game, and you even had the Woodruff Spalding. That was game 10. You're done. So I mean, there's no teams that would go 50. But now, if you go to the state playoffs, you can play. They got 9 games, and then you can play about 4 or 5. So you can go 14-0 now. So what I'm saying is, there's been a lot of years when there's no way anybody could go 16-0 because you didn't play. And remember, you used to only play in the bowl
Sure.
before the playoff. You'd have your regular season of say 10 games, and then maybe if you were good enough, you got to play in a bowl game, the Rose Bowl, if you won the Big Ten. Okay, but you would only play 11 games. In Notre Dame, and their good time, they would play their 10 games and then play like in the Sugar Bowl or the Orange Bowl or the Cotton Bowl. Okay, and they would get 11 games. They were 11-0 a number of times. I think Michigan State was all those schools were. But as far as going 16-0, I don't remember any team in the modern era.
I don't either.
No.
Hey, speaking of that, because you had a long. What year did you come to Peoria? Your family?
63.
63.
July
What was when you got here in '63? What was your favorite restaurant as a family, or maybe just as Mike Olson, that you liked going to? Your very favorite
Hunt's.
Hunt's Drive-In, yeah.
Hunt's, the tenderloin, the shake, yeah.
Tenderloin
And then I have to admit,
a shake or a soda. They were famous for their famous chocolate sodas as well.
I like
You like the shake, though?
I like the shake, but we also liked Agatucci's. People said go to
everybody has liked
Agatucci's,
Agatucci.
Yeah, and we even went to Davis Brothers across the river, but I liked. And then Davis Brothers had a little bad publicity there for a couple
Yeah,
years.
what was that about?
Well, they were putting stuff in. You were thinking you were getting sausage, and it was.
Because your sausage is so nice and fine, and
Yeah.
it's not big
Yeah.
chunks of stuff.
So it turns out it was a horse?
No, but people were using their dumpster for other things, and so they found a can of like dog food. in the dumpster, and they said it was dog, which it was
Yeah,
not.
It
It
was
was
not.
not.
It was defiant.
Yeah.
But it was
So
just
that's
bad
what-
publicity, though.
yeah.
Yes, the bad publicity.
Well, that's right. And sometimes
You got to be careful.
those
yeah.
people ought to be kicked in the you-know-what.
But
right now.
I'm trying to think. There was one other place I kind of liked too. It was out on Sterling, and it was, kind
Was
of.
it a pizza place? Was it Sterling Delight? No, that's
No,
Pizza Delight.
it was.
think
It
of
was
Pizza
more
Inn?
like Hunt's. Could have been not Hunter. And Hunter's was downtown.
Hunters
That
was
down
downtown with the
across
curly dogs.
from,
No, I like their
First
chil-
Methodist
The
Church.
chili dogs and the
popcorn.
popcorn. Yeah.
Bob Babcock was the guy that
Nice
ran
guy,
it. Yeah,
nice
nice
guy.
guy.
Yeah.
And his sister was a sweetheart.
Yeah, no, they
Wonder
were
what
a good
happened
fan.
to them.
We ate down there, but there was a place like I think it was on Sterling, about in this area here. It was like
I'm
maybe
trying
a
to think.
farm was it last.
Well, Fairview Farms, but
no,
that was
I
over
know,
by
but
the.
Yeah.
Fairview Farms was good too. Yeah, and but this was
Wasn't Bob Evans, was it?
no.
Because it used to be out here, and it closed, and then Avanti's
I can't think
opened.
of it now, but I remember going there.
And remember, Pizza Hut used to be where that Quick Lube place. What a switch that is!
Yeah.
No, basically, I would say our two favorites. My mother would take us on payday, and I was the oldest, so I had five younger siblings, and we didn't go out. I'm sure, like you didn't either, Roger. You didn't go
No,
out to eat very
no.
much. There was
Not much.
not much. But she would take us, every 2 weeks when he got paid from Caterpillar, cash the check, I guess. And
Where'd you
we
go?
went to, we called it Wheatsies. Some
Wheatsies?
people called it Whiteseas. It was right by where
Where was
where
that?
Channel 30, where Steak and Shake is now. Right where.
Boy, I don't remember that.
It was
You
a
remember that,
hamburger
Terry?
place.
I sure don't.
We called it Wheatsies. It was a white building, and it was almost sits right exactly where that, right in front of Channel
Well,
31.
You had Shakey's.
Yeah. Shakey's was just north of there.
Yeah.
But that probably closed, in my opinion, in the late 60s, early 70s. Wheatsies.
Well, I don't remember that. I have to look that up. Anyway, there was a late breaking story on cable news. Researchers uncover how quickly weight returns after stopping GLP-1 medication.
I don't like
Isn't
any
that
of-
true? Of most weight loss programs. I don't care what it is. When you stop doing what
This is
got
where you
you
take
there.
the shots, right?
Yeah.
The same thing with this. Are you familiar with the word creatine? Creatine was a muscle building that was legalized
Yes.
in colleges.
Correct.
Most high schools did not want. This was like in the 70s and 80s. How can you say anything safe that you're putting in your body when you just come out with it? You need at least 5 years or 8 years.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
These people are shooting up, losing weight. I'll call it shooting up. I mean, that's what they're doing.
All right.
Number one, I don't need any more needles in my body. I've given enough blood, both on the ice and off the ice, that I don't need to give any.
Both voluntarily and involuntary.
Involuntary, yeah.
I understand that.
No, I had, with having just the knee surgery, I have to go through a checklist of about 5 things. Something for I've already had an EKG, I've already had 2 blood tests, I've got to have something for this endarterectomy that I had to make sure that that's clean still before they'll even do the operation.
Well, we're trying to make it as safe as possible.
Safe. No,
With
that's
no-
it.
no
I have no
surprises,
problem with
yeah.
it. But you seem to get stuck quite often. Is what-
One is too often for me. Hey, let's get into the news and the weather before it gets too late.
Too late.
It's
On too late.
on too long is another possibility. Well, we know it's cold outside, but really it's never too cold to buy or sell your next home. Kathy Reynolds of Home Smart is anxious to help you and available and help you get the best affordable opportunity and price. Experience, trust, available with Kathy Reynolds. You can reach Kathy at 309-696-2400. 2162. With our lead story, here's Terry.
Tazewell Coroner Charles Hanley has identified the woman pedestrian who was struck and killed by a pickup truck as Lori Boyce of Washington. The 63-year-old victim was pronounced dead at the scene in the 2300 block of Washington Road just before 6 p.m. Friday evening. Driver of the truck has not been identified as police continue their investigation of the fatal mishap. Families with loved ones living at the Serenity Assisted Living and Memory Care Facility on Main Street in East Peoria have received notice it will soon close. Residents must seek new accommodations. Senior living facilities, including nursing homes, are facing serious financial and staffing challenges. The profit margins are slim and getting slimmer, according to some healthcare sources. OSF Healthcare has announced that Sister Michaela Meidel will become the organization's next president. She'll replace Michelle Conger, who will be promoted as CEO of OSF Healthcare with the pending retirement of Bob Searing. Sister Michaela is currently Executive Vice President and Chief Ministry Officer. In national news, so far no apology from Minnesota officials about the invasion of anti-ICE rioters at a church in St. Paul. The rioters harassed church members during a Sunday service, frightening children as well as adults as they were worshiping. The rioters have also caused the closure of a number of hotels and motels in the Minnesota Twin Cities, citing safety concerns. The Supreme Court has ruled by a vote of 7-2 that candidates have a right to challenge late arriving mail-in ballots. County clerks and elections boards have maintained ballots can be counted even after Election Day. The ruling comes after an Illinois Republican who easily won said it was wrong to count late ballots, a position also held by many Republicans, including President Trump. And those are the headlines, Roger.
All right, let's take a check of the weather brought to you as a service of Morton Community Banks. They have over 50 branches across central and northwestern Illinois, offering a full range of personal and business banking services. Hometown banks, FDIC insured, so your deposits are absolutely safe. Look for the clock tower and you'll know they have time for you. We have time to give you the weather. Increasing cloudiness, a little warmer today, a high near 30. Wind chill values, though, still bad, between 6 and 4 below. The bottom line is it's cold out there. Maybe it's cold. Tonight, a slight chance for schnee and a low of 25. Tomorrow, sunny, windy, and a high of 35. Tomorrow night, cloudy, windy, and cold, a low 17. How about Thursday? We're up to 28. And Thursday night, down to 1 below. Friday, only 6 above the high, and overnight 4 below. Saturday, it'll be 9 degrees. That'll be the high. Saturday night, 1 above. And right now, our temperature standing at 9 degrees. You know, you talk about cold and snow and so forth. I remember when I was sent from FN headquarters outside of Frankfurt down to Garmisch-Partenkirchen, and I went by train, and it was into the Bavarian area with the mountains and so forth. And as we went through little villages, you would see in this country years and years and years ago, we would have different sizes of sleds. For Germany, as you went through a little town, you saw different sizes of skis. There would be mama skis, dad skis, teens, and you're exactly right.
No,
I bet that was probably
Same
similar
deal
to an
out there.
Escanaba.
Yeah, the same deal. You'd see the family skis, and well, because you didn't want to bring them into your house
Well, of course
right
not.
away because they were all
They had snow and ice, and they'd melt, and the next thing you know, you got a puddle of water.
So you would there'd be a place. I want to say it's almost like you used to hook up your horses, you know, and they'd have maybe a little bar or somewhere you could, and they would, of course, the bigger ones, and then the daddies, mommies, oldest boys, girls, youngest, and maybe as many as 6. Well, then the other thing they had up there too that I thought was pretty neat was they had those snowshoes. I think they called them, and they were kind of
Cross country walking.
Yes, exactly. And
I tried that when you're. That is really physically
it's physical,
challenging.
yeah, it's more. But at least when you try to walk in that, what'd you say, 17 inches?
Yeah.
When you start going up above
Above your knees.
it's a little hard walking.
I always thought it looked like they were walking on tennis rackets.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to explain to people. It was like a tennis racket deal.
Yeah, it was.
But only it framed in
No long
like
handle.
a big, what do you call it, sole of a shoe. But it was probably, some of them for adults were probably, because they're Bigfoot, they were probably 2 feet.
Wasn't that kind of like some of the competition in Winter Olympics? They would walk so far,
Oh, yeah.
and then they take their guns out and shoot at targets,
there's-
and then they walk so far
There's a
and do
name
the
for
same
that, yeah.
thing, and maybe even wind up skiing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I think it was skiing and
Marksmanship
marksmanship.
and
yeah.
walking or running, whatever. That is,
Kinda
yeah,
kinda
just
like
thinking
that.
about that wears me out.
They
for
got the
that matter.
triathlon with water.
Yeah.
You got swimming. You got there.
All right, here's our pet tip of the day.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
Today's pet tip is brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Pet lovers are dedicated to their animals, all species from horses to turtles and of course cats and dogs. If you are a pet lover, learn these little known, somewhat amazing facts about your pet. As the weather turns warmer and outdoor activities increase, remember your pooch's sensitivities, especially his foot pads. Hot pavement can work like a blast furnace. Walk your dog in the morning or late evening when the ground is not as hot. Carry a small dog over the hot pavement to a grassy area. Walking over sharp, coarse gravel or on a running track can also damage a dog's foot pads. Foot pad injuries in dogs can range from abrasions, blisters, burns, ulcers, tears, punctures, and lacerations. The common clinical signs are limping, licking at the feet, or bleeding. You might also see cracking. This ailment is serious and needs to be attended to quickly. Anything other than a superficial abrasion should be treated by your veterinarian, as foot pads do not heal like regular skin. Home care for mild abrasions includes gently rinsing the affected foot under cool water, then an application of an antibacterial ointment. I prefer Veteriacin. It's a reliable wound solution that does not interfere with the wound healing process, but products such as Neosporin can also be used. Finally, placing nonstick Telfa pad over the foot pad and lightly wrap with vet wrap or an ACE bandage. The bandage should be kept clean and dry and changed daily until the pads have healed. This whisker of information has been made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in partnership with Spot, Saving Pets One at a Time, and KSBR Studios. Produced by Joseph C. McGuire and theme music by Stuardo Glasser.
Today's pet tip has been brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Oh boy, I wonder if I need a little Claritin or not. At any rate, that's our pet tip of the day. And we have time to play a little a quiz. But before we do that, I want to thank Phil Salzer. Every year for the last few years, he's been bringing in at Christmas time a 3-pound, 2.9, so that's 3 pound, isn't it? Box of chocolate.
That's 3 pounds. Yeah.
Let me tell you
Especially if you
something.
have the
We're down to the nitty gritty. And when you look at what's left, you study, well, which one will be the best one? Now, I like caramels or caramels. I like those with, well, I found the last one. You study them very closely and say, because you don't want to take a bite and leave it. I do.
That's tacky.
I know, and I do that all the time at home.
And Daryl,
But I'm gonna be-
Daryl. Gene, there's one Trinidad left for you, so you better get that Thursday.
Well, he'll be safe because
Cream.
no, no, you can have the cream.
That's called a May.
May? May white.
This is the dark cream. Yep.
All right.
My wife could see me now.
I know that's a spam call.
Yep.
309 with 8889. All right, here's some of the questions I have for the panel.
Okay.
See how good you are. What show did Robert Ripley die less than 3 months after starting to host?
Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Yes, very good.
Oh, yeah, right. 1-0. I'll keep score because I don't know.
What uniform character did Jerry Lewis play in 1957? And I've never heard of this before.
Uniform character.
I'll save eating my candy
say
later.
In the Army or?
A private in the Army.
What was his name?
Beetle Bailey.
No. I just don't remember this, and apparently neither the two of you.
No, we don't. That's a
Sad Sack. Do you remember that? You
I
do
remember
remember
hearing
that? I
about
don't.
back,
Sad
but I would-
Sack,
I would-
yeah.
We'd have been here a long time if you didn't give us the name. I would.
I hate to ask this one because I don't like this woman, and we'll leave it at that. Big deal, Roger. She don't like you either. What actress opined bombs are falling on Vietnam, but it is an American tragedy?
Jane Fonda.
Yes, you're right. Leave that and don't say anything
2-0.
else, Roger. What comic book G.I. Jerk made it to the silver screen in 1957?
Silver screen. The big movie. Comic character.
Comic book character.
Yes. I'll make it easy for you. We already talked about him.
Oh, Beetle Bailey.
No.
Oh.
You did. You talked about him. But
Sad Sack. again?
Sad sack, right. What a question of that. What stripper was dubbed the Argentine firecracker? I remember the name, but I don't remember the incident.
Argentine. So it wasn't Gypsy Rose Lee.
And it was the first and last name had the same letter.
Augusta.
Not Sally Rand. I don't know.
I don't know. It's a wash.
Fanny Fox. You don't remember them. Who hit with Take This Job and Shove It, the biggest country success of 1978?
Johnny Paycheck.
Very good. She needs to be on.
4-0.
I like that song a lot.
Oh, wow. I love. I didn't know this happened. Who finally married Helen Crump?
Andy Griffith.
Yeah, when did that happen? I didn't know
5-0.
that.
Later in the show.
Boy, I missed that. I didn't know they actually got married on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I
believe her.
For some strange reason, I wanted to learn more about Frances Bouvier. Is that how you pronounce
Frances Bouvier.
Bouvier. Frances Bouvier.
That is French.
Yeah.
We've mentioned on the show that in her final days, called Andy Griffith and apologized for
How she
being
treated him.
nasty
Yeah.
to him.
Yeah.
And
Well, you know,
she
well,
wound up.
he was a great actor.
She wound up living in a ranch home in either South Carolina, forget the name of the town, small town, and she was rarely seen. She became like Howard Hughes.
A recluse.
Yeah, and died alone in that little house. And it's such a shame because she was, after reading about her, I then watched some of as I do almost every day, and she was an outstanding actress.
And you look at some of her younger pictures, she was beautiful.
When she was younger,
Yeah.
So somewhere along the line, she fell on bad times.
Hard times.
What Badfinger tune provided the musical backdrop to the end of The Magic Christian? That I know nothing about.
Don't know.
And the answer is Come and Get It.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know whether that's very good. Let's go to some. What publication claimed it was the world's largest selling women's magazine with a new issue every 3 weeks?
Cosmopolitan?
No,
Vogue?
no,
Vanity Fair?
no,
Elle?
no. 2 words.
Good Housekeeping.
I think this is one very good. It usually was at the cashiers of grocery stores.
Women's Day?
Women's Magazine.
Yes. Starts with the word family.
Family Circle?
Family Circle.
I
Very
get a
good,
half
Pam.
on that.
You get to have one on that,
It's,
right?
It's about seven and a half to 1 to a half.
Which of the
Favorite
Beatles?
Harry.
Which of the Beatles wrote "Come and Get It" for Badfinger?
John Lennon.
Well, you're on the right track.
Paul McCartney.
Paul
That's
McCartney
the first
is
one
right.
I thought it was 8.5 to a half.
All right. What family's theme song opened their creepy and they are cookie?
The Addams Family.
Very good. What
9.5
war?
to a half.
What war was the subject of the Oscar-winning documentary Hearts and Minds?
A war. World War II.
No,
Korean War.
no,
World War One.
no.
Vietnam.
Vietnam. You named them all except that one, Mike.
Hey,
Yeah.
she just, I think she was trying to let me get a win here, and I couldn't come up with the biggest thing in my life when I was growing up.
Who said, I see nothing wrong with giving Robert some legal experience before he goes out to practice law?
Legal experience before he goes out.
Is this a real character or is it a movie?
Yes, yes,
Somebody said this to somebody.
yes.
John F. Kennedy.
That is correct.
Boy,
Nice going.
I can't even count. I think we're up to 11 and a half to a half.
What book did William Peter Blatty finish with the $10,000 he won on You Bet Your Life?
Jaws?
No.
What book did he write?
Exorcist?
Exorcist is correct again.
11 and a half.
What revolutionary kind of tires were announced in Akron, Ohio on May 11th, 1947?
White walls?
Close.
Radials?
Not so close. Actually, it was close too.
That was my first guess, because I remember that term, radials, then white walls, and then this is 47?
Yes.
1 year before I was born, so I don't have a real good couple years. In Akron, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
All weather?
No?
Snow tires?
Snow tires, I'm thinking of that. I'm thinking of terms we use for tires.
Think of
Retreads.
think about the tires in 47 and the tires we have today.
They have some sort of.
What is the big difference?
But boy, they're pretty much all.
Okay, let me help you out a little bit. Did you have a bicycle?
Yes, inner tubes. Something with
Okay.
inner tubes.
Well, you're close. You get a half a point. Tubeless.
Tubeless.
They were the first to be tubeless in that entrance.
Because we used to have we used to get the inner tubes.
Yeah,
to
for
go
your
swimming.
bicycles. Oh, yeah.
For the big tires.
Yeah.
You'd want the inner tubes to float on in the Lake Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and couple more questions. What group, musical group, asked questions 67 and 68? And it's very quiet in the...
Is it a well-known musical group?
Yes.
Chicago?
Chicago is correct. My goodness, ladies and
I tell you,
gentlemen.
we got a sponsor on one of these game shows, man.
What club did Barry Manilow call the hottest spot north of Havana?
Copacabana.
Yeah, Copacabana. I knew you would get that one. Very good.
I like that. That has that jump to it, you know. Copacabana.
What two cities were linked by the 20th Century Limited, a train that made its last run December 3rd, 1967?
Detroit to Chicago.
You're close. You
Toledo.
got one of them correct, one of the cities.
You got Chicago. correct.
Chicago
Yes.
to New Orleans.
No.
Chicago to Milwaukee.
No.
What was the name of it?
20th Century Limited.
That's 19.
Los Angeles.
No.
To Minneapolis.
No.
New York.
New York is correct. New York and Chicago. All right, we're in the home
15 and a
stretch.
half to-
Who in 1975 was the first rock and roller to appear simultaneously on the covers of Time and Newsweek magazines?
I'm going to go out Elvis Presley.
And pretty much known as a nutcase,
Oh, I know who you mean.
in my opinion. He's in the news now. He's very politically left-wing.
Bruce Springsteen.
That is correct. Who did Bob Hope mean in 1977 when he said we've lost the most recognizable voice in the world?
Bing Crosby.
Bing Crosby is correct. And what was Clarence Rutherford's nickname? I don't even know who Clarence Rutherford is. I know Dr. Bob Rutherford and Bill Rutherford and Paul Rutherford. Do you know who Clarence Rutherford is?
No.
Okay, his nickname was Lumpy.
Oh.
Grumpy.
Okay, that would have been the neighbor on Leave It to Beaver. Lumpy. Remember?
Oh,
him?
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the guy's name?
Yeah.
I never.
What show made Annette Funicello the star she is today?
The Mickey Mouse Club.
The Mickey Mouse Club is correct. What was the name of Joe Cocker's 1970 North American tour? I'd never get this in a million years. Had to do with an animal and a type of man.
Was it the Eras Tour?
No.
Taylor Swift. Eras Tour.
An animal and what?
And people of England, men of England.
English Bulldog?
No, I don't think you would get this. Joe Cocker's tour was Mad Dogs and Englishmen.
Mad Dogs and Englishmen.
Well, you do. You were familiar with
I've
that.
heard that term. I wouldn't put it with Joe Cocker, but okay.
Who's quoted on the side of Trivial Pursuit's Baby Boomer edition box?
Oh man, I just saw it. Frank Sinatra.
No. This is, I think, a character on somebody's show. why that would be, but well, I'll tell you. Clarabelle. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, that
Any
was
sort-
from
For a
Howdy
long
Doody.
I got to give you an update on the score. It is 18 and a half to a half. And Terry will be the winner.
What men's aftershave was ice blue?
Aquavilva.
Very good. I'm trying to help you on that one. Who played the president of Nerlinger Milk in Good Neighbor Sam?
Is it a well-known actor?
Well, very well known.
What are the initials?
E.R. Well, I'll help you out. I'll give the middle initial. E.G.R.
Edward G. Robinson?
Yeah, I knew that would get him. Who was working as Dean of Columbia University when called to service by the GOP?
Eisenhower?
And it became you're absolutely amazing, woman. I don't know how you do it, but you're amazing. All right, we have to get out of here. Wow. Already. I kind of have fun doing that, asking the questions. No way could I compete. And the final score was?
19 and a half.
Okay.
That is a sound
Don't
butt-kicking.
don't feel bad, my friend.
I
This
don't.
woman should be on
hey,
Jeopardy.
When you're battling the best, I competed as hard as I could.
Yeah,
And
you
I
bet.
couldn't even get out.
Yeah. You did great. At any rate, so long, everybody. Have a
Y'all
great
have
day.
fun.
Stay warm. Don't go out unless you really have to. In the meantime, remember, God loves you, and so do we. So long, everybody. And special thanks to the Honorable Judge Steve Court for being our special guest today. What a great gentleman he is. God loves him.